Niggas been counting me up. I'm counting my bullets, I'm loading my clips. I'm writing down names, I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice and I'm getting them hits. Niggas been counting me up. I'm counting my bullets, I'm loading my clips. I'm writing down names, I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice and I'm getting them hits. The real ones been dying, the fake ones is lit. The game is off balance, I'm back on my shit. The Bentley is dirty, my sneakers is dirty, but that's how I like it. You all on my dick, I'm all in my bag.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Let me get a quick sound check. Quick sound check, please. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. As you come on into the room, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all do all of the YouTube etiquette. Remember, all of 2025, we coming up in this thing and we're doing things the right way. Make sure that we are liking the content, sharing it out every time we see a video go live, whether it's me or your favorite content creator. And also, okay, we good on the sound. Appreciate it. All right, cool. We got that out the way. Let me go ahead and welcome the wonderful lady of the hour in the room.
Across the miles, through endless nights, we found each other, hearts ignited bright. Whispers on the wind, love's gentle call. From distant lands, we conquered it all.
Hey, baby.
Hi, honey.
How you doing?
Fine. I mean, I thought that was Minnie Riperton for a moment.
Listen, for the copyright tool, listen, it's gonna be a problem, all right? It is not Minnie Riperton. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. We understood it. It is not Minnie Riperton, all right? So you too, when y'all come to, and I'm gonna do a request a review on my shit. So that's not Minnie Riperton. So we got that well understood, all right? now that we got that out the way, hello, baby. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I am doing amazingly well. I'm looking a little bit hinged on my skin color, so let me apply some lotion right quick. But anyway, I'm good. Today is a good day. Congratulations, baby. Your husband is in there. We got that new contract signed, so we on the way. You feel me?
Yay!
All right, cool. Now that we got that out the way.
I said, hooray. Welcome to the Soft Light Amp.
Hey. Let's go ahead and welcome the people up in the room. We got Almanizers in the building. What's going on, Almanize? Judy Bug, Teals. Who else I got up in here? Dr. Steele. So I got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. 4, 5 people, and I got 12, 15 watching. Make sure that y'all share it out. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Judy Bug. Shiesty Bum said, what's this? Shiesty Bum, I got a show for you today. We have a show for you today. Angry Snowman is in the building. What's going on, Willie?
Cussed out.
What?
Don't get cussed out.
Hey. Players fucked up. Players fucked up. You know, my name is not, name is not Rufus. But anyway, he says this should be an interesting stream. Yes, I hope that it is, because we got some information and education for the masses. Now, baby, before we get started, you did a extraordinary piece of content earlier this morning. And I have to let you know, as always, you're very, very inspiring when it comes to curating content and pushing the conversation further along. You want to give people a brief on what it is that you talked about this morning?
Yes, this morning I talked about, we had an uncomfortable conversation about the absence of fathers in the household, how the narrative that's being spun about single mothers is factually inaccurate, and Black single mothers are not necessarily living in poverty, how incarceration rates and fathers just simply not being there absolutely have a detrimental effect on male and female children. And, strategies, I began the conversations on strategies to improve relationships between the genders, first of which is being educated. And we talked a little bit about Ericsson's Piaget's and the topic that we're discussing tonight.
Correct. And for those who are not of the researchable platform, researchable economic, let me go ahead and just let you know. Tonight we are be talking about the Oedipus and the Electra Complex and its effects of those complexes in Black households within the Black community. Shiesty Bub says, I'm so over these men talking about single moms, and I'm not even one. It's a ridiculous one. Well, Shiesty Bum, hopefully tonight's conversation can really shed some light as to how it is that, or shed some light as to why it is that some of the behaviors or psychological behaviors that you see on these platforms and across these social media platforms will really give a little bit of credence as to why it is that you see some of these behaviors. Our Nicole says some of these men don't make it easy to stay with them. Well, all right, you was over there on that panel, Izzy's panel, and trust me, I will be doing a reaction to that because it's a conversation that needs to be pushed forward. But the truth of the matter is that you see how um, the theory of how it is that women take it harder when it comes to rejection, and how it is that men are actually the ones that take it harder. But you know what? That's another time. That's another show. We're going to get into that. But that was a long back and forth debate. But it gives a little bit more insight as to what it is when we talk about tonight. So let's get into it. We're going to be exploring the psychological theories of the Oedipus and Electra complexes and their profound impact on single parent and dual parent households within the Black community, from the challenges of father absenteeism and mother child enmeshment to development and gender roles. We dissect how these complexes shape emotional growth and family dynamics. We will also be talking about societal and economic factors that influence these households and propose community driven solutions for creating healthier family environments. So, that being said, please sure that y'all have liked, shared, and subscribed. And let's get started. Baby, what is the Oedipus complex?
So the Oedipus complex speaks to Freud's phallic stage theory when we are talking about Sigmund Freud's psychosexual theories, the 5 stages, which they have a cute little, mnemonic for you to remember, right?
Mhm.
It's old age pensioners love grapes. All right, because it's oral, anal, phallic, latent, and genital. And when we start getting into this complex, Oedipus and Electra deal with the phallic love stage. Now, for those that don't understand what happens in the phallic stage is when your super ego develops. It's from ages 3 years to 6 years. Okay. And it's the penis or clitoris masturbation. Okay.
Mhm.
It's a lot. It also has to do with the parent of the same sex and the parent of the opposite sex. When these issues of being attracted to your parent of the opposite sex are not resolved, you wind up having issues later on in life with vanity, self obsession, sexual anxiety, inadequacy, inferiority, and envy, because this also lines up with Erickson's stages of development, initiative versus guilt, which actually, teaches you your self worth.
Mhm.
So, the things that can offset resolving Oedipus and Electra complex is an abnormal family setup leading to unusual relationships with the mother and father. And this happens to be very heavily prevalent in the African American community.
Correct.
What are you
So,
showing?
mhm, I am showing what it is that we're talking about the Oedipus complex. So the Oedipus complex, this is just an
Not a
overview.
PowerPoint
Also,
presentation.
uh,
Not a PowerPoint presentation. Oh my.
yes, ma'am. Listen, we're here to educate and to inspire, right? So, also called the Oedipal complex. The Oedipus complex is a term used in the psychosexual stages of development theory by Sigmund Freud. The concept first proposed by Freud in 1899 and not formally used until 1910. Refers to a male child attraction to their parent of the opposite sex, mother, and jealousy of their parent of the same sex, father. So, just so we make sure that we are not going into perverted terminologies or to where anyone can say that we're up here pushing for this type of narrative. Does everyone in the chat understand what it is that we're talking about? We're not talking about the sexual adverses of how it is that a child would be attracted to their parent. We're talking about how it is that it creates an envious environment of the opposites, I'm gonna say, of the same sex, and asphyxiation to the same sex. Right? I'm
Wait a
saying,
minute. Wait a
mhm.
minute. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
The Let me clarify because I see people in the chat like, is it a bad thing? And they understood it was a Caucasoid defect. It's
Mhm.
not.
Okay,
It's your natural attraction
correct.
as a human being that comes out of your mama's vagina. If you're a woman, you're naturally going to be attracted to a man. If you're a man, you're naturally going to be attracted to a woman.
Mhm.
However, at that delicate age, and this is what I tell you guys all the time about psychosocial markers. At that delicate age, you have to meet certain psychosocial markers in order to be able to have appropriate relationships with persons in your own sexual group or of the opposite sex. So, what Oedipus and Electra are signifying, and the resolution of them signifies when the male child, even though he always loves his mother, understands there is no rivalry between him and his father. And
Mhm.
his father becomes the ally and a mentor. With the Electra complex, this is when you see young girls understand that there is no rivalry between the daughter and the mother, and the mother becomes an ally and a mentor. So when you're not resolving these complexes, this is when you see extremely rebellious attitudes between daughters and mothers, fathers
Mhm.
and sons.
I have a
Little
visual representation of that. Okay, baby.
Sure.
So, what do you think it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a visual representation of the Oedipus complex. Occurs in a phallic stage. Baby, you briefly covered the phallic stage, but I just want to read a little bit more and what the well, you know what the phallic stage is. We don't have to read. Just give a brief of what the phallic stage is.
I just told y'all what the phallic stage was.
Yeah, dang, okay.
I
Jeez.
mean, I'll tell you again, but
No, too
it's
late,
the
my
penis or clitoris masturbation in which the
Mhm.
superego develops.
Correct. So, and then we have feelings of desire for opposite sex parent, competition with same sex parent. Shiesty Bump said, right, that's normal. Talk about it. So, when we're talking about the Oedipus stage, and then we also have the representation for the electric and Oedipus complex. This is a better picture. So the electric complex is girls' sexual desire for their father and envy for of their mother, and the Oedipus complex is boys' sexual desire for their mother and hatred towards their father. The thing about these two stages and why it is that this is brought up is we're talking about the affection for the other parent. So the way I can break this down to where it's easily understood and not overtly perverted, which people will try to do, is boys are more prone to be with their mother. Girls are more prone to be with their father. So you got daddy's girls, and then you got mama's baby or mama's boys. That's the best way to explain it. Did I explain that correctly, baby?
Yes.
Okay. So hey, hidden, what's going on? Hey, OG, what's going on? All right. So when we talk about why it is that in the black community, why is this so important? Because you hear these talking points on how it is that in single mother homes that boys and girls they go through these stages or they go through delayed stages of growth or the grow delayed development is because when the other parent is not there, it causes a rift within that child. This is important because it's not being spoken about enough, nor is it being understood as to why it is that a person will grow into an adult and have these delayed uh, development processes because they're stuck within that time frame, which that parent left, which in most cases is usually the father, or they end up staying with the custodial parent, which is 9 times out of 10 the mother. Go ahead, baby.
Um, hold on a second. Sorry.
Okay, you're
Go ahead.
good.
I had multitasking.
All right. So Snowman says my son wouldn't be doing that if it's his father's responsibility to educate his son on what his place is in the family structure, specifically after specific ages. He also says it's like letting your son sleep in the bed with his mom, generally around the same time to start puberty. Correct. You're getting it. Right. It also it allows the son to build companion type feelings. Correct. So when we look at why it is that these things can be presented, because how it is that within that single parent household, within the black community, how this raises problems is that when that person grows up, whoever it is that, well, typically with girls, they challenge their mother because the father is not there, or they challenge the mother because the father is there. And then with boys, they end up having a resounding attraction to their mother, which is why it is that typically they would be dating the type of woman that they see within their mother, right? And now we bring it to how it is that you see this on the social media platforms, that guys would typically feel like they have an ownership over women because the boys, because of this Oedipus complex, they feel like that they're the man of the house because the father's not there. Hey, Lisa, what's going on? And then with the woman, they feel like they have to gain control of the house because the mother was the one that's in charge. Y'all kind of catch what I'm saying a little bit? So, anyway,
Yes.
okay. Let us go through some of the comparing and contrasts and the differences of how this works. So, relating to the Oedipus complex, the dynamics within the Black community, especially in the context of single parent and dual parent households, involves examining the psychological and social factors that impact family structures. Single parent households. So, this is from the absent father perspective. In single mother household, the absence of a father figure can disrupt the typical resolution of the Oedipus complex. Boys may lack a male role model to identify with, potentially leading to difficulties in developing a healthy sense of masculinity and authority. Then we have the mother son dynamic. In some cases, single mothers may inadvertently place their sons in positions where they take on responsibilities typically shared with or assumed by a father figure. This dynamic can blur traditional parental roles, potentially leading to emotional enmeshment and challenges in establishing boundaries. Then we have the impact on daughters. For girls in single mother households, the lack of a father figure might impact their understanding of male roles and relationships, possibly leading to difficulties in forming healthy relationships with men later on in their life. Baby, what do you got to say about that so far?
I agree.
Yeah. Now let us go on to dual parent households and how this applies. So we have balanced role models. In dual parent households, children generally have both male and female role models, which can aid in a healthy resolution of the Oedipus complex. Boys and girls can observe and internalize the dynamics of a male and female partnership. Parental unity. A strong, unified parental front provides children with a clear sense of boundaries and roles. This helps in the development of the superego and fosters a secure environment for emotional and psychological growth. But you have to understand that's a dual parent household. So when it's a single parent household, without that other parent being there, typically the father, this would cause those delayed developmental factors, or now when they come into being an adulthood, they are kind of withheld or not really uh, functioning on a higher level because they're stuck in that age that they got, pretty much left behind. Ari says, wow, this is what it sounds like to have an intellectual conversation. Yes, ma'am. So then we go to, I'm sorry, baby, did you have anything to add before I went on?
No, go ahead, baby. You're doing a good job. I have to multitask it real quick, so go ahead. You got it.
You're good. Thank you. All right. So then we get to the broader social implications, economic and social challenges. These are some of the challenges that they face. So high rates of single parent households in the Black community are often linked to broader systemic issues like economic instability, mass incarceration, and historical disenfranchisement. These factors can exacerbate the challenges of parenting and impact the psychological development of children. Community support and mentorship. The presence of extended family, community leaders, and mentors can help fill the gap left by absent parents, which is typically the father. Positive male and female role models in the community can provide children with diverse perspectives on gender roles and relationships. And then how do we, get to the point of breaking the cycle? Addressing these dynamics requires community focused efforts, including economic empowerment, access to mental health resources, and support for both single and dual parent households. Encouraging healthy family structures and providing resources for effective parenting can help mitigate the challenges associated with disrupted family dynamics. Mind you, everything that I'm reading about is all talking about the Oedipus complex. Now I'm going to compare and contrast the Oedipus complex with the Electra complex. And if I'm going too fast for y'all, if you're not understanding what I'm saying, then just let me know. Shiesty Bum says, does feeling jealousy or envious of the same demosynthesis, I don't know that word, always happen though? Um,
Um,
I don't know
what?
that
Type
word.
that again, Shiesty Bum. Type that
Yeah, yeah.
again.
Type that word again. I'm so confused. Thank you, Ari, for sending
Oh,
this.
yes, it always happens. It always happens until Oedipus and Electra are resolved. It's a natural function.
Correct.
Why do you think that, like, as Baby said earlier, I still was listening, even though I was multitasking? There are daddy's girls and there are mama's boys.
Mhm.
Those of you that have sons, think about it. Why you think they say you can't let your son sleep with you past a certain age? Because your son starts to move with you as if he is your husband. This is so when they're
Mhm.
talking about these son husbands, these son boyfriends, it's true. It's based on Oedipus. They've never resolved that issue with their father, so they take ownership of their mothers.
Mhm.
The same thing with daughters as well. So yes, it is in fact a growing pain. Hey Lisa.
Correct. Okay. So now I took y'all through an extensive reading of the Oedipus complex. Let's explore the Electra complex, right? Um, oops, shook my damn camera. All right, so the Electra
Not
complex
you
is,
trying to break stuff.
I know, right? The Electra complex is a psychoanalytic concept introduced by Carl Jung. Refers to a daughter's psychosexual competition with her mother for her father's attention and affection. In the context of the Black community, discussing this concept involves exploring how cultural, societal, and familial dynamics may shape such relationships differently than in other communities. So let's talk about some key points.
Who did you say this theory was of?
Carl Jung.
No, it's not.
Carl Jung or Carl
No,
Jung.
Young is right, but he's not the person that developed this complex.
Who did it there?
Freud.
Let me fact check that. Carl Jung. So it
That's
says Carl
okay.
Jung. There it is. Okay. So yeah, it is. It is
According to
from.
Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytical theories from the late 19th century, subconscious thoughts deeply influence human behavior. He argued that sexual desires drive people on a subconscious level formed during early childhood. He developed the theory of the Oedipus complex, the name which originates from Greek mythology. The Oedipus complex is a psychoanalytic term that refers to a mother-son relationship. According to the theory, young boys form a strong sense of themselves and their sexuality at an early age. It sets the ground for a conflict with the father because of the need to be the sole focus of the mother's affections. Freud names this complex after Sophocles' play titled Oedipus Rex, where the protagonist kills his father and marries his mother. Similarly, the Electra complex refers to psychoanalytical concepts that describes a daughter's sense of rivalry with her mother. The Electra complex is the female version of the Oedipus complex. This name also originates from the Greek mythological stories. In Sophocles' play, Electra and her brother plot the murder of their mother to avenge their father's death. In Psychoanalysis, a daughter's fond relationship with the father creates conflict and rivalry with the mother subconsciously. Sigmund Freud believed that human personalities form in early childhood. He argued that personality development depends upon the ability and manner in which a child deals with inner drives for pleasure.
Mm, cool. Thanks for that. All right. So from the
You're
Freudian
welcome.
perspective, from the Freudian perspective, the Electra complex is a counterpart to the Oedipus complex. Involves a daughter developing unconscious desires for her father while feeling rivalry and jealousy towards her mother. And this concept, though not as emphasized by Freud himself, he focused more on the Oedipus complex, can be explored in the context of the Black community with attention to unique familiar and cultural dynamics. So, by Freudian's
Wait,
interpretation,
wait. I love you too. Don't look at the camera like that. Yo, you looking at the camera like it was just joking, yo. But but I love you still. It's okay. But what causes the electro complex is the most weirdest thing in the world, right? So when men are like women have penis envy, low key is true. I know chicks, y'all about to be mad at me, but it's low key true. Like the cause. Why you gotta shake your head like that? You shake your head like as soon as you stop talking. Wait, watch. But when a young girl realizes that she's born without a penis, she blames her mother for the castration and develops resentment towards her. The young girl forms a deeper connection with her father at that stage. So it is all about the penis. Now you see, when I let him hold it down, pew pew, and I was
shut up,
multitask.
I was doing something.
Oh, 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 shit now.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. Do your read. Shut up,
yep,
I was getting
yep, you
something.
got the show.
Dang, asshole. I'll get
Yeah.
cussed out.
Go ahead.
Anyway, make sure y'all support the show by way of the Cash App and or the Super Chats. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm gonna get cussed out on the show. See here, sound like
Whatever.
listen, if you want to take over the show, you got it, baby. I know how to sit back and take the back seat. You see what I'm saying? I
You know
have
what you
no
can sit
problem with
back
that.
on? You know what you can sit back on?
Nope, don't know. Tell me.
The beach. Let's go. Do the show.
Mm-mm.
Come on.
No. You got it. Go ahead. You got all my notes. Just go ahead. Make sure y'all support the show by way of Cash App and or Super Chat. You can do $ WHILHELM, or you can do $ Butterfly Progressive. It's all up to you. Go ahead. You
Already
got the
is
show.
it. First of all, I don't need any notes. You know, this
Mm-hmm.
is part of my degree cycle, so this is
Mm-hmm.
what I know. I don't need
Gotcha.
notes. I'm just trying to help you, baby. I'm just trying to make you shine. I'm trying to be
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
resplendent background to your
Mm-hmm.
foreground. Continue the
Gotcha.
show.
Mm-hmm. You done?
Hey, need to be watching.
So,
See,
Freudian's
this is why
interpretation in
people,
the Black community. I swear to God. That's your ass. Fuck out. Yeah, listen, here, look here, bro. Let me tell you something. Freudian's interpretation in the Black community based on his theory. At what age does this usually happen? Between the ages of 3 and 6. You gonna say something? You gonna say something?
yes,
Dang.
I am going to say something. Oh my God, he knows I'm going to say something, you guys.
Yeah, between the ages of 3 and 6. That's when it usually happens. That's actually fun. But we're not done yet because we got way more to get into.
You're right. Can we talk about the correlating stages of development?
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the air. How could his hands do this? Oh, someone get him out the air.
You just try to have a show. You know, you just try to have a show, and then shit just happens. People just flying in the motherfucking air, waving their hands and shit. It's all good. Now, when I bring her back, let's see if she laughs or if she cuts me out. Y'all ready? Three, two, one. Hey, baby.
Hi, darling. Are you finished now?
Sure. Go ahead, baby. You got it.
Oh my gosh, you need a whole spanking. Like he
I got whole
literally,
notes I didn't typed out for this whole entire thing. Go
but
ahead.
like, I mean, I understand that
Mm-hmm.
you have whole notes, and I get that you need them, right? That's awesome, 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 awesome. But we don't really need notes for this show because I know it. So it not boy, I know it. So if I know it, then you know it, and we know it together. And there are things that I might forget, and you are the strong tight end to have my back as we get this football all the way into the end zone, touchdown, right? But there are just things that I inherently know to add on to the talking points of your notes,
Okay,
like
go ahead.
Piaget and Erickson, right?
Okay, go ahead.
So Piaget has pre-operational development at ages 2 to 7, right? So this is when you are able to like start expressing your needs. It's so important. This stage actually starts at 2 to 7 years. You begin to think symbolically, learn to use words and pictures to represent objects, tend to be egocentric, and struggle to see things from the perspective of others, right? Getting better with language and thinking, but you still tend to think in very concrete terms. That's from Piaget's. But again, when we get to this initiative versus guilt is a psychosocial stage that a lot of people in single parent households do not attain because children develop a sense of initiative and guilt through having opportunities to explore, initiate activities, and make choices. And children that are not able to do this, they develop like a sense of guilt as they grow older. So if you're a single parent, are you necessarily doing the tasks to foster initiative? No. So you have people that are literally failing to meet the psychosocial stage of initiative and guilt, meet the psychosocial stage of preoperative, you know, cognition. And they're still fighting with the phallic stage. And you wonder why the people around us are insane as heck. They have to go to therapy. Go ahead, babe.
Sweet. Now, let us get to the interpretation of Freudian's theory of the Electra complex within the Black community. So, parental roles and attachment. Freud's theory posits, that daughters form a deep attachment to their fathers, seeing their mothers as competition for paternal affection. In the Black community, this dynamic can be influenced by the presence or absence of the father figure. Keynote: presence or absence. Often shaped by systemic factors like incarceration or economic displacement. Now we get to the part that you was talking about. Penis envy and gender dynamics. Yes, it exists within the Electra complex. Ladies, I'm sorry. It's just the truth. These are my notes. I just went ahead and compared the two. I applied Freud's theory, and this is what I came up with. This is what
Oh,
research.
that's why you was upset with me because I be getting ahead of your nose. Oh, all right. Go ahead.
No, baby, I am gratefully appreciative how you know these things and I'm just studying them. So you got your degree. I don't have a degree. I just do the research. But that's why I love you because you know these things. That's why you're the best. Love you. So, penis envy and gender dynamics. Central to Freud's theory is the idea of penis envy, where daughters realize they lack a penis and subsequently desire their father who possesses it. This concept might be less applicable and interpreted differently in the Black community, where gender roles and the value of different parental figures can vary widely based on cultural norms and historical influences. Let's talk about the family structure. In many Black families, especially those led by single mothers, the dynamics of the electric complex could differ. The absence of a father might shift the focus from rivalry with the mother to be a more complex interplay of admiration, dependency, and identification with the maternal figure. Baby, would you like to add to?
Nah, I don't want to get too far ahead of
No,
you.
you're good. You can't get no further than my notes than that. But go ahead. Add to it. When we talk about penis envy and gender dynamics in a household from the Electra complex and Floyd's theory. Go ahead.
Yeah, mothers have to be super, and fathers too. Mothers have to be super delicate with their children during the electro complex phase because, first of all, especially if you have like boys in the house, there's boys, siblings, and then the dad. The little girl is going to be super confused because she's like, they could stand up to pee and they could do this, and they could do that, and they could do this, and they could do that. And then she's going to be curious and inquisitive. So you have to be nurturing through this process. And this is maybe when you start expressing the difference in what body parts are. A lot of women are super closed off from like having reproductive conversations with their children or genitalia conversations with their children. You literally can tell your toddlers that's your no-no place. This, you could give it a interesting name, like this is your flower, that's your no-no space. Daddy has a snake, that's his no-no space. You have to really start to, well, actually, let me say this instead. Before people have children, they should take a brief course in child psychology, in
Yeah,
child development, and in child language, so you know the language to best communicate with your children to help them meet these markers. Go ahead.
correct. Thank you, baby. Appreciate it. All right, let's talk about the family structure. In many Black families, especially, did I read this? Yes, I did.
Mm,
All
you
right.
did. Thank you, Natasha Vincent. My God, today. My God, today.
She says, I liked how Raw explained it, though. Shout out to Piaget. But we loved a researcher who is prepared in advance. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so let's talk about the cultural reinterpretation. No, I'm talking about impact of societal factors. Sorry about that. All right, so socioeconomic challenges and systemic racism could amplify or suppress traditional Freudian dynamics. Now, when I talk about now, this, I put a keynote here, a footnote here that I want to draw. To, actually, I'm glad I'm doing this because I'm being challenged to prepare a dissertation when we talk about how it is that who takes rejection harder, men or women. But I'm going to get to that. But I'm glad I'm doing my research now. But the footnote that I want to apply here is that we're talking about racism within the Black community. Notice that I did say within the Black community. I didn't say outside influences of racism that is happening within the Black community. I'm talking about in. So when we're talking about light skin, dark skin, those who have maybe a mixed race, those who may come from other countries, but they have melanin in their skin. We all know, and y'all have experienced yourselves, where people of a lighter skin or fairer skin may be treated differently from those with darker skin. How this applies within family dynamics is there can be some type of envy or hyper affection based on how the child looks from either the mother or the father. And then there is a difference in the rearing and the based on their skin color and on their gender. So a light skinned boy may be getting treated differently than a dark skinned boy, and vice versa when it comes to gender. Light skinned girl, dark skinned girl. From the mother, a part of the Electra complex, and from the father, a part of the Oedipus complex. Baby, you got to add anything before I continue? Okay, she must be busy. So with that being said, I want y'all to keep that key concept into your head of how it is that those of the how racism is being treated and how it adapts to Freud's theory. When we, yes, racial divide, definitely. But not only is it a racial divide of those outside your household, but there's the racial divide inside the household. Oh, well, he's too light. That's not my baby. She's too light. That's not my baby. Oh, that can't be my daughter. She too dark. That can't be my son. He's too dark. And how it is that these psychosocial problems are imprinted onto the child from the parent. We have to remember that because we talk about colorism. Yes, colorism as well. So these are something that's instilled into the child from the parental figure, be it that it's male or female, and how it is that that is placed differently onto the child based on their gender. especially with their skin color. All right, let me continue. For instance, the struggle for survival and success in a racially biased society might foster stronger solidarity between mothers and daughters, reducing the likelihood of competition as described by Freud. Now let's talk about cultural reinterpretation. Thank you. The emphasis on community and extended family in the Black culture can diffuse the traditional nuclear family structure, Freud described. The Electra complex may manifest differently with broader family influence and different expectations for emotional and psychological development. And then, lastly, in my notes, I have Freud's theories have been critiqued for their Eurocentric and patriarchal biases. Applying them to the Black community requires adaptation and critical analysis or critical thinking, considering the unique cultural, historical, and social realities that shape familial relationships. Now, I hope y'all can
Ah,
go ahead, baby.
I severely disagree.
Go ahead.
So this is the thing. People want to act like there's differences between human beings just because we have a different skin complexion.
Hmm.
Race is a social construct, not an actual one. The reality is Caucasians do have a tighter family structure,
Hmm.
so they are able to easily resolve this complex. What we're hearing with that commentary on that particular article is the we the victim complex. When we look
Mm.
at the after effects of what actually happens when you don't resolve these.
Well, I hear Michael's
Yeah, he's
going
fine.
through it.
He's
Yeah.
tomorrow is his birthday, guys, so he is on some, he wants sugar and then he wants it now. Okay, he feels
It
like he
was
needs all
now.
the cookies, all the candy, all the ice cream, and I'm not going. But
Go ahead.
when we look at how personalities form when that particular phase, the phallic phase, is not actualized, we see this most often in the African American community. Abnormal family setup leading to unusual relationship with the mother and father. What is more unusual than not having a relationship at all with your father? What is more unusual than a brother husband situation? Or, yeah, a son husband situation. I know I said brother. Son husband situation. What is more unusual? Thank you, Natasha. What is more unusual than daughters fighting with their mothers? And where do we see this most often? In the African American community. Vanity, self obsession, sexual anxiety, feelings of inadequacy, inferiority, and envy. Well, geez, all you got to do is take a brief tour through Black YouTube, and those traits are on Front Street every day. Thank you, DB. But we're also, at some point we got to go through the oral and anal stages as well. Not tonight, though. I don't want to take my baby too far off of his notes. But the mouth, sucking and swallowing, is when your ego develops. The
Mm-hmm.
anus, withholding or expelling feces, that also is an ego development.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at those two things, the oral and anal stages not being met, that leads to forceful feeding, deprivation, early weaning. If it's
Izzy has a super chat for you.
I'm glad go through it.
Shout out to Izzy Bass for keeping to his
Shout
word
out
with the $5. He
to
says, salute to Raw G and Sale for the bet. I'm glad I didn't go through part two.
Yes, thank you. And to Deborah, thank you for the $2 for Michael's birthday. Appreciate y'all. Okay, so if you are too harsh or too lax during toilet training, you're gonna develop a child that's obsessive. They're obsessive, they're tidy. This is when you see obsessive compulsive disorder develop. They're super mean, or that's if you're too harsh. And if you're too lax, then they're not clean at all. And they're super generous, doing too much during those phases. Okay. So now, if you have someone that's deprived, right, or if you're forcefully feeding them early weaning, then that's when you get smoking. You get smokers because they have to do oral activities, or people that's too focused on sloppy top, or cunnilingus. They become dependent on that and super aggressive. So when we're really talking about the community and where we are right now, I've been telling y'all for years, and shout out to my wonderful love for helping me bring these awareness to y'all, because y'all tune in for the mess. And we do give you all a good show mess or education, whatever. So I appreciate him for being, my co-host, my co-star. But
Always.
did you just redo your notes?
No. I'm literally so Easy Bands. I hope you're still here. Thank you for the $5. He says, "Happy birthday, Michael Champ."
Thank
Easy
you.
Bands. I believe it was Uncle Jeff specifically, but it was on Easy Band's show. I got challenged to write a dissertation, to prepare and present a dissertation on how it is that rejection is, how it affects men more than women. So I'm
It
doing
was
that.
Angry Man. Angry
It was
Man said
Angry Man.
that. Uh-huh.
Okay. Hope Angry Man's watching. Shout out to Angry Man because and I hope he comes by to really listen to it. It's gonna be a hell of a work. I said I was gonna be prepared by next Friday. I tend to stick to my word. I'm gonna do this dissertation on this.
Yeah,
So go
let's
ahead.
go. Let's go.
Mhm.
But you ever seen somebody that is pessimistic and they hella suspicious? Are
Say
you
it
gonna
again.
answer? Are you gonna answer that? So
What was the question, baby?
I said, have you ever seen an adult that's super pessimistic and suspicious?
Yes. Yes, I have.
So that would suggest that that person was underfed as a child.
Correct.
Somebody that's optimistic, gullible, and full of admiration. Guess what happened to them?
What happened?
They was overfed.
Mm. So gluttony
Hmm.
or lack of parenting with the use of food so they can distract the child.
Right.
Go ahead.
Both. So
Or tablet time or technology overstimulation from technology.
exactly.
Mhm.
So you ever heard of somebody having an anal retentive personality?
No, I haven't.
What?
I haven't.
You kind of have an anal retentive personality. No, I'm just
Anal
playing.
retentive, anal retentive personality.
Yeah, I'm just
No,
playing with you. You really don't. But somebody with an anal retentive personality disorder hates mess. They're obsessively tidy, punctual, and respectful of authority. They're stubborn and tight fisted with their cash and possessions. That's because they were potty trained entirely too early or entirely too harshly. So they have pleasure, right? This is all related to the pleasure of holding on to their feces when they were toddlers, and then their mom insisting that they get rid of it by placing them on the potty until they performed. So now they're tightly bound psychologically. So the anal explosive personality is when someone is just kind of like, yeah, pee on the toilet if you want to. If not, pee on the floor. It doesn't matter. I'll just clean it up, whatever. So they are likely to give everything away. In essence, they sharing they An anal explosive personality is messy, disorganized, and rebellious. You're messy. You know who you are. You
Mhm.
disorganized. You know who you are. You rebellious. Yeah, your parents just let you do whatever you wanted to do while you were potty training.
Correct.
Go ahead, babe, because I could talk all day on psychology. That's my shit.
Oh no, you're good. This is why it's important, and why it is that we need to talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we just talked about the electric complex. Let's go back to the Oedipus complex for a second. Where we're talking about the application of the Oedipus complex to the Black community. Right? Now, this is
Mm-hmm.
for the men. So, fellas, I hope you're paying attention. All right, so adapting the Oedipus complex theory to the Black community requires a nuanced understanding of both psychological framework and the socio-economic and cultural factors influencing family dynamics. By doing so, we can identify and address unique challenges faced by dual and single parent households within this context. I hope I got y'all attention. Put a one in the chat if y'all still here. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. If you have a question, just type it on the chat. Baby, just let me know if you type it on the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with single parent households. Absence of a parental. Did I read this already? No, I didn't. All right.
So what I'm gonna need you to do is start highlighting sections. We got a lot
Yeah,
of
that's what
ones.
I'm doing.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing. I got tons of notes. All right. So absence of a parental figure. Remember, this is in a single parent household dealing with the Oedipus complex. We're talking about sons, males, fathers, mothers. All right. So the father absence. The lack of a father figure disrupts the traditional resolution of the Oedipus complex. Sons may struggle to find a male role model to emulate, leading to identity and authority issues. Do I need to read that again? Do I have
Yep.
y'all attention? I need to read it again? Got
Read
you.
it again.
The lack of a father figure disrupts the traditional resolution of the Oedipus complex. Sons may struggle to find a male role model to emulate, leading to identity and authority issues.
Mm.
Okay. Then we have mother son enmeshment. It's
Mm.
Enmeshment. You would think I went to college, but I didn't. All right. In many single mother
Wait,
households,
pause.
go ahead, baby.
I'm trying to convince this man to go on ahead and get his degree. If you stand in agreement with me that he needs to go and get his degree, put a 2 in the chat.
I do
Oh,
need to
then.
go ahead and get it here. Damn. They said I don't need no education. Got it.
Damn, y'all ain't gonna stand in agreement? Oh,
Oh,
okay, there
damn.
you go.
There you go.
Shiesty, Tootie Bug, thank you. I was like, dang, y'all just gonna leave me out here? Oh, don't chase the LA project. Yes, I was to say, don't leave me to win. That's right.
Shiesty Bump said, what's he's waiting for?
Look at, right. What is he waiting for? I've been. I told him, look at Angry Snowman. Sound like he doing fine on his own. Ooh, he going too. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. This is how we increase the community by making our natural skills and intelligence transmutable to paper. Go ahead, love.
Thank you. All right. So we're talking about the mother, son, and the measurement. I know I'm using some words that y'all might not understand, but if you're having problems, Google. All right. In many single mother households, sons may assume responsibilities or roles typically shared with a father. I'll read that again so it's clearly understood and easy to understand. In many single mother households, remember, we're talking about sons. Sons may assume responsibilities or roles typically shared with a father. This can create blurred boundaries, leading to emotional dependencies and role confusion. I've seen it out the corner of my eye. Somebody said son husbands. Yes, I've seen it out the corner of my eye. Thank you, Dr. Steele. Also, Angry Snowman says like man of the house. Correct. So, this can create blurred boundaries, leading to emotional dependencies and role confusion. Remember, this is a single mother household. I'm the man of the house. Oh, you ain't gonna be having them niggas come up in here. I'll take care of you. When they go off to college or when they get a contract at a sports team or something like that, the first thing they do is buy for their mom. right? The movie
Fact.
Baby Boy, good concept. All right, emotional and psychological gaps for
Mm.
boys. This is for boys. Without a father figure, boys may lack guidance on masculinity, authority, and discipline, potentially seeking these traits in unhealthy peer relationships or societal influences. Now, baby, when I say peer relationships, what do you think I mean by that?
What about your friends?
Mhm. What about joining a gang?
That too. That's their friends though. Their friends become their
Yeah.
family.
What about living a life in the streets?
Yeah.
Okay. What about joining clubs like a football club or something like that?
Yeah, all of that. All of that.
And now I might piss a few of my listeners off, but that's okay. What about joining online groups?
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure.
What about Red Pill, Manosphere, MGTOW, Incel? This sounds familiar.
It does, because the reality is they're all looking to resolve their Oedipus issues.
Military. Thank you, Angry Snowman. All right.
Uh-huh.
For girls, oh, I'm sorry. Societal influences. When I talk about societal influences, that still goes along with peer relationships. Exactly, Nidish. All of them. Discord. Hey, make sure that I see all the heavy hitters in here. Make sure that y'all are sharing the stream out. Making sure y'all liking the show. Make sure y'all supporting the show. Now, let's go to for girls. The absence of a
For
father
girdles?
for girls, GIRLS. The absence of a father can lead to difficulties in understanding healthy male female dynamics. Male female dynamics. Understanding healthy male female dynamics.
Mm.
Possibly resulting in challenges forming secure relationships in adulthood. What
You
does that
mean
sound like?
like you mean like just giving away the box for nothing?
Thank you. Come on now. Goddamn, I love you, woman. All right.
Mm.
Possibly resulting in challenges forming secure relationships in adulthood, leading to, guess
Baby
what I'm about to say?
baby mamas?
Early pregnancy or unmarriageable pregnancies. Yes, I use that
Mm.
word unmarriageable. Yes.
Mm.
Mm. What that sound like? Well, Cellulite Podcast, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. What do you think I'm talking about?
The African American community?
I'm talking about the African American community, but what do you think I'm talking about? Conversation with MJ says too. Go get that degree for fun, Sale.
Yeah. Salute to
Ah,
you too, darling. Congratulations on your channel growth.
most definitely. I see you over there growing, MJ. All right, let's talk about systemic barriers. You know, government and all this, that, and the other. Two specific systemic barriers that I pointed out, which was the most like when I was doing my study on Freud, right? Economic stress. Single mothers often face financial struggles, which can affect parenting quality, stress levels, and the emotional environment at home. I want to stop right there for a second. So I want to reference that young man that we encountered over there on Sharon's show the other day. You remember that guy?
Yep. The one
The
that
guy
said, them
that,
kids, it's all about me.
yeah, the one that can say F them kids and I only care about myself and
Mm.
my sanity and my mental health and my finances is more important than my children. Well, when we're talking about how in single mother households that there's often financial struggles which can affect parenting quality. When we're talking about these absentee fathers, we're talking about the Oedipus complex. We're talking about the Electra complex. We're talking about their stress levels, and we're talking about the emotional environment at home. A woman who works 3 jobs or is working 1 or 2 jobs, that's working, I don't know, what, 12 to 14 hours a day, have to deal with doctor's appointments, multiple jobs, insurance, car note, bills, all this, that, together, all of the struggles and buggles that comes with being a single parent as a mother. When you're talking about the Electra complex and the Oedipus complex, that's a lot for a single parent, mother in this case, to deal with. Now, I could
Not
say
to
that,
mention the after effects.
not to mention the after effects. Thank you very much. So when we talk about, what do they call it, baby? Mommy burnout or
Yes,
maternal burnout? All right. So
mommy burnout. Yes.
maternal burnout. Let's talk about that for a second. We talk about the quality of parenting, and we talk about how it is that this can affect for young girls, how it is that they don't have these secure or resounding relationship when they're facing these challenges when it comes to forming relationships and how it is that they view them, especially when they go into adulthood. What happens a lot is they don't get that nurturing, they don't get that love, they don't get that guidance, they don't get that understanding, affection, and all of that and the other from the mother. But you got to remember, we're talking about the Electra complex. So there's already some type of resentment, either from mother to child or child to mother when it's a girl, and how it is that she's not spending enough time. Damn, this really just hit home for me. She's not spending enough time with her daughter to show her the ropes on what it means to be a mother. Not to include, there is an underlying premise here. If that single mother came from a single mother home or broken mother home herself. So, okay, Broderick Black with $5. Baby, can you read that?
Yes, I can. I was a child of Tootin, abandoned at my birth. I decided to do the best to be able to turn away from the opposite side of the sexual spectrum. I mean, and I hear you, right?
Hold on. One, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us, and transparent for sharing that with us, Mr. Black. Appreciate you for doing that and for your support of the channel for $5. Go ahead, baby.
Yes, thank you for the super chat. But here's the thing, right? Y'all blame everything on the women. But if men were simply doing their part instead of running around here like,
it's my turn!
It's my turn to take care of me. I don't have to. It's not my responsibility. She didn't make me wear a condom. Women is hoes. The women. It's all the women's fault. Well, she wasn't raised right. Where was the father? The reason I started off today talking about the effect of the absent father in the African American community, it is very easy for men with penises to blame women and not be aware of the psychological damage that they impart to a child simply by not being there. We're talking about personality development at the ages of 3 through 6. You can't even stay in a relationship with a woman that you are sleeping with for 6 years to make sure your children have the best development. And to be quite honest with you, it doesn't even matter if you live in the house, right? For these children to overcome Oedipus and Electra. What does matter is the engagement and the time that you spend with your children. And I'm going to tell you, as a human being, I'm not even going to put this on gender, as a human being that's lived life, seeing men and women both do this, which is why I didn't have my children until I had degrees and I was married. I've been listening to a lot of y'all's conversations. All y'all do in front of your younger children, in front of your children, period, is talk cash money shit on the parent that's not in the house. Your father ain't shit. You just like your father. So a child that's already having issues resolving Oedipus and Electra only develops further resentment because the parent that's actually elevated in the mindset for the girls is the father. So when you tell a girl that her father is a shit and she already doesn't like you psychologically because she feels like you are the reason that she doesn't have a penis and she's not your ally and she doesn't look to you to a mentor. Now you're creating further fractals in the African American community. When you're telling a boy that his father is not shit and his father is not there and he already sees his father as a rival. I'm going to do everything different that dad didn't do because because this my woman now. Y'all really playing real stupid. And vice versa, fathers. When you running around in front of your son saying your mama's not shit, she taking all my money on child support. I would do better things with you, but I can't because I gotta pay your bitch ass mama. Yeah, your son already hates you. Your son looks at you as a nemesis. He looks at his mother as the hero. So you're setting up fractals, and your daughters are looking at you as heroes. So when you're complaining and talking shit about your child's mother to your daughters, what you're actually doing is fostering a woman that has an inability to ever be friends with women and to ever have a healthy relationship with her own mother, the woman that's supposed to be a mentor. So when we look at who has the power, let's be honest. In a patriarchal system, hell, even psychologically, King Dingaling reigns supreme. Y'all are the leaders in more ways than you know. The only thing is you don't want to step up to the plate and take the responsibility. I'm gonna be quiet though.
All right. With that being said, let us continue. Edelman Williams says, is this story time today? No, sir. Today is not story time. We are doing some educational things. We're talking about the Oedipus and the Oedipus complex. Please make sure that we are paying attention. Now, we are on where am I? Here it is. That's where I'm at. Where am I? There I am. All right. So we were talking about systemic barriers. All right, let me go over to community influence. A lack of positive male role models within the community exacerbates these challenges, as children may turn to peers or media, social media, or peers in the streets, their friends, or whoever it is. No, baby. What you mean? What you talking about? What you talking about?
Boy, do you read your notes? Go ahead now.
I'm reading my notes, but you just sent a little something that what you talking about? Anyway. A lack of positive male role models within the community exacerbates these challenges, as children may turn to peers or media for guidance or gender roles and relationships, on gender roles and relationships. You know, all of these relationship podcasts, all of these different platforms that talk about what a man should and what a woman should not, what a man should not, and what a woman should, and how it should be, and how this, that, and domination and submission and all of that and the other. This is where this comes from, right? Now let's talk about dual parent households. Remember, we're dealing with the Oedipus complex, parental unity, and role modeling. In dual parents households, children benefit from observing cooperative parental relationships, which can help in resolving the Oedipus complex by providing clear models of adult behavior and roles. Boys and girls can develop. Go ahead, baby. My bad.
No, I said, where are the adults? Who are the adults?
That's also the problem.
Oh.
It's also the problem. Boys and girls can develop a balanced understanding of gender roles, expectations, and healthy relationship dynamics. Remember, we're talking about dual parent households, right? You know, this myth that everybody keeps saying that cannot exist. This is what happens when there are two parents in the home. I asked quite a few people, either panelists, content creators, or chatters, which one do you think is better, single parent households or dual parent households? Which one is better for the child? Baby, do you know what most of the answers I got back?
Single parent households.
Majority was single parent households. Nope. Dr. Steele was not dual parent. It was single parent. A lot of people told me that single parents are better because the parents can't get along and that would affect the children. I'm here to tell you that single parent households affects the children majorly. It destroys them psychologically. It causes a lot of developmental problems and it delays a lot of development. Let's go on. Cultural and economic pressure. Even in dual parent households, economic pressures such as underemployment or systemic discrimination can create stress. affecting the overall family dynamic and parenting effectiveness. Traditional gender roles and expectations within the Black community may influence parenting styles, sometimes leading to strict or authoritarian approaches that can impact emotional development. So, that being said, in this dual parent household, these things that that both parents can work with the children with when they come with these questions or these challenges, those dual parents can work together, which they should be working together to raise that child and instill within them the guidelines and the protocols and the options that they have or the love that they can use to take within the world, and they can grow into better people. Without that dual parenting ship, that that is being held back. The development, the growth, and the development of that child is being destroyed, held back, whichever word that you like to use, to where now that child has to go search on the internet or from their friends. Hey, Rocky, what's going on? To where
Hey,
they can now,
Rocky.
hey, Rocky, so where they can now try to build a foundation in their early teen years or adult years. They can try to build a foundation of what it means to be a person, what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman. In this particular case, what it means to be a black man. What challenges will I face as a black man? What challenges will I face as a black woman? Would I be treated different because of the color of my skin? Would I be treated different because of the gender that I was born with? And also, what challenges will I face when I enter the world? And these other people are facing these challenges. Baby, what do they say the percentage of single parent households is these days?
Oh, they said like 80% of households is single parent households. All the
Hey,
women are hoes.
correct. Hey, Lawrence. So if a child who's going through strict social developments is encountering another child who's going through strict social developments, and both of them are seeking answers, what's the probability that either one will be able to help each other out? Or will they turn to other people such as the internet, social peer groups, working relationships, or they might end up in relationships that they don't need to be in because they're trying to make connections with people because they don't know what it means to be loved or to be understood or to be heard. Go ahead, baby. Of
No, it's the blind leading the blind.
course. Where did I stop at? All right, cool. Now, let's get to some of the biggest issues within the Black community households that I found using applying Freud's theology on the Oedipus complex. Systemic economic challenges such as lower wages, job instability, and limited access to quality education place significant stress on both single and dual parent households, impacting parenting and child development. The disproportionately high incarceration rates of Black men result in the absence of fathers, contributing to the challenges in single parent households and disrupting family stability. A lack of community resources, mentorship programs, and positive role models exacerbates the difficulties in providing children with the necessary guidance and support. And then there's the stigma that surrounds mental health and seeking psychological support that prevents many families from addressing underlying emotional and psychological issues, leading to unresolved trauma and dysfunctional family dynamics. Go ahead, baby.
Oh no, you're good. You got it.
Cool. So, with that being said, you listen to all of these different talking points, and listen to all these different grievances when it comes to the government and how it affects the family dynamic. Then you listen to all these different podcasts about relationship issues, what men are, when women are, when men are not, and when women are not. And you roll that up into this big gigantic ball that a lot of this is really unresolved psychological trauma stemming from their childhood. $10 from Broderick Back. Baby, can you read that?
He was dead before I was born. I decided not to get involved with the opposite sex. It's not on him. I made a decision that led me to turn away from the opposite sex. I have to live with what I done.
Understandable. Appreciate you for your transparency and your $10 support, Broderick Black. But the stigmas that comes from this and the results that happens, which we see on social media every day, especially on these panels and on these platforms, is that it leads to a lot of distance relationships or people pushing people away because they really don't want they're seeking help, but they rather complain more than they would try to get the help that they need. And then we talk about the stigma of therapy, right? When people say I'm going to get therapy, they think that's the other, they're worried about the judgment that they get from others. But if they was in this dual parent household, they would understand that therapy begins at home. And whatever therapy or whatever psychological issues or whatever traumas that you suffer from as a child, as you go into the world, you can get further help, and that is the therapy. Thing is, as a Black community, we don't really push for mental health develop. We don't really push for mental development or mental health until it's too late. Once the damage has been done and we've swept it under the rug, we got skeletons in the closet, and now everyone's lying just to try to cover some shit up instead of actually addressing the issue that is before the person. They'd rather just put it off on someone else. And especially in single parent households where exhaustion comes into play, work relationships come into play, economic stress comes into play. All of these things come into play to where now the person, the parent, is pretty much disassociating themselves from the child. The child is going to go into the world thinking that they're all alone. And then they will start to join all these different groups, or they will become influencers themselves, and they will try to lead others with their trauma. This sounds like trauma bonding. Y'all should know what it is. All right, let's address some of the issues. So, strengthening economic opportunities, investing in education, job training, and economic development within Black communities can alleviate financial stress, enabling parents to provide both support for the children, or even more so, let's incentivize marriages instead of incentivizing single parent households. That's not gender specific, that's for both parties to be involved. If you continue to keep incentivizing single parent or incentivizing or inspiring people to participate in single parent households and not in marriages, because I understand everyone, some people out here, they pay for play. They don't want a relationship. They just want to have a good time. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're off-putting that lifestyle and you're covering up with the message that ain't no such thing as a good Black woman or a good Black man, you're muddying the waters to where people can't really understand what you're saying because you're not living that lifestyle. You're truly faking the funk. Promoting positive role models. Community programs that emphasize mentorship and provide positive male and female role models can help fill the gaps left by absent parents, aiding in the healthy development of children. And breaking the stigma around mental health and increasing access to counseling and support services can help families address emotional and psychological challenges, fostering healthier family dynamics. Policies and programs aimed at supporting both single and dual parent households, such as child care support, parenting classes, family counseling, can strengthen family bonds and can also strengthen the family dynamics and better outcomes for the children. That being said, I'm done with my notes. What do y'all think is the biggest problem when it comes to the Oedipus and the Electra complex within the Black community? I asked this question because me personally, I see people really exhibiting all these behaviors at once across social media platforms. And what tends to happen is because they aren't able to address the real problems that this stems from, which is the single parent household, and how we can say that we are more important than our children, leads our children to have these delayed social skills and delayed development. Not to include, you're talking about creating a string of and a slew of broken homes that is surrounded or encompassed in what's the word I'm looking for? Babies out of wedlock, unmarried people, grievances on addendum, movements that are pushing the narrative that Black women are the problem, movements that's pushing the narrative that Black men are the problem without addressing the true core of the problem. And that is that people need to get help. Dr. Steele says lack of balance when it comes to masculinity or femininity. That sometimes causes people to build walls surrounding them. Exactly right. Baby, what you think about tonight's presentation?
Oh, it was awesome.
It's the fakest, it was awesome ever. I'm not going to open up the link. Y'all are more than welcome to come up to participate in the conversation.
Why does that have to be fake? Because that such a show
Just
was awesome.
talking crap, baby. Gee.
You told me it was my turn.
You can talk all that you want to. Yeah.
Go ahead, you got it.
So sick of you with this nonsense. The link is dropped, y'all. Come up here and tug some
Damn
meds.
it. Nobody take no cornbread from me. And that go for you and any other you motherfucking farmers want to try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
And let me go ahead and give a thank you to everybody who has hit the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Let me say thank you. Shout out to Dr. Steele. Dr. Steele says you and Will embody what content creation is. It is supposed to be educational, engaging, and thought provoking. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. See, I'm looking for my media files because when we do our shows together, I don't necessarily like love his Cash App, but I do love mine.
Don't take it personal, but I ain't lying. I ain't hiding, I've been grinding, multiplying. I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in.
Once we living, yeah. That's what you want to do, sir? Do y'all see what I gotta put up with?
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I didn't do anything. What you mean?
Say goodnight to the people. It's time for everybody gotta go to sleep.
Lauren says, was that Robbie singing? Baby, was that you singing?
Shh. I don't know nothing about nothing. Shh.
You don't know nothing about nothing.
Mm-mm.
Can I read a little bit of my dissertation?
No, save it. Why are you so?
What?
Did you have leisurely potty training? You're very generous. You love to share.
I do love to share because I don't think enough people really talk about these things that are super important, which is engaging and building the community through education and really inspiring to learn all that you can about psychological studies when it comes to raising your children. Don't you think that that would kind of mitigate some of the problems that we see every day on these panels?
Yes, but I don't want you to give anybody any of your dissertation until you are complete. I want you to perform it with the cunningness of Iago.
Okay, fine. No dissertation preview for y'all.
Right.
Well, that
get personal, but
baby, you've been talking about the Oedipus complex for years.
Mm-mm.
You have. You have. Why do you think people don't really take to the Oedipus complex?
I think people don't take to what I be saying because I'm a woman and I be saying it, and it minimizes their pedantic arguments and the conversations that are functionally rudimentary in assigning blame to someone rather than taking actual accountability. Thank you, Lawrence. I pretty much am. Yeah, Shakespeare. Oh, Natasha, did you not see the Villains Unveiled episode I just did on Iago? You should check it out. But I'll drop the playlist in the chat. But like nobody really wants to take accountability, to be honest with you. Or maybe people just don't necessarily know how to get to accountability because they know that in the African American community, nobody wants to go seek therapy.
Okay.
It's Pavlovian in nature. It's a conditioning to complain and complain and complain with no resolution.
That I can agree with you with. A lot of people really don't want to learn. That's just the way I look at it. I want to play a little something before we get ready to go, though. So let me go ahead and pull this out quick. Right here. All right. So, what is love? The Oedipus complex and the Western Mark effect.
You love your mother. Lots of us do. But not in that way. Oh, come on, please don't put thoughts like that in my head. That's not exactly how Sigmund Freud saw it, though. He believed that boys reach a developmental stage where they lust after their mothers, see themselves as love rivals with their fathers, and want their fathers dead. They don't realize that they're doing this because it's an unconscious desire coming from the id. It gets censored by the conscious mind. The Oedipus complex is named after the character who killed his father by mistake and slept with his mother Jocasta without realizing who she was. Girls go through a similar phase when they unconsciously fall in love with their fathers and want their mothers out of the picture, sometimes called the Electra complex. For Freud, growing to psychological maturity involved experiencing and then getting beyond the Oedipus complex. Those who got stuck in that phase manifested all kinds of problems and ended up on his couch. The anthropologist Edvard Westermark, an expert on incest taboos, saw it differently. He argued that we have an innate tendency to find those we grow up with domestically sexually unattractive, the Westermark effect. While Freud thought that we have constructed incest taboos between children and parents because children go through a phase of lusting after their parents, Westermark maintained that we aren't sexually attracted to people we've grown up with because they're more likely to be genetically related to us. It's nature's way of avoiding inbreeding.
What happened?
My
That
bad.
was it.
Yeah, I got it. What you think of that, baby?
I mean, he's not wrong. Like, people ultimately want to think this is about actual sex with your parents. It's just about your brain developing another ability. I think a good movie that kind of does a good job of explaining a child's mind is Inside Out and Inside Out 2. We literally love those movies in this household. It's so amazing. They show you the little control panel with joy, with sadness, with anger, how as the child develops and gets older, your emotions start to understand. They work together in order to create your core memories, how, they grow. Like, there's islands, which are like your kind of anchors to your personality islands. They grow based off of your core memories, different experiences that you grow through. And this creates your brain. It creates who you are. I thought, that is one of the most genius movies in modern times, because a lot of people have a better understanding of child psychology because of it. But I see you have another clip pulled up. Go ahead. I'm going to pull up Inside Out clip. Go ahead.
Okay, cool, no problem. So I just want to give y'all a quick little 5-minute visual representation or presentation on the Electra complex.
Did you know that cats aren't real? Hello, and welcome to another quick dip into one of those generally misunderstood psychological concepts, the Electra complex. Ready? Then let's unravel. Initially, Sigmund Freud had described a phenomenon in boys called the Oedipus complex, where they experience unconscious desires for their mothers and view their fathers as their first rivals. However, when it came to girls, Freud didn't exactly do his best in extending his work to create something with a uniquely womanly application, but instead he just went with terming it the feminine Oedipus attitude. Carl Jung, a former student of Freud, fortunately also felt that this was insufficient and introduced the name Electra complex, so as to more aptly describe the set of dynamics in young girls. So why am I telling you this, and who is Electra? Well, let's start with a bit of mythology, shall we? Similar to Oedipus Rex, Electra featured prominently as a heroine in an ancient Greek play written by the famous playwright Sophocles. Different play, different heroine. But more than that, she was also mentioned by others like Homer as being an actual princess in ancient Greece. Electra was apparently the daughter of King Agamemnon, that king who invaded Troy because the most beautiful woman in the world ditched his brother for Orlando.
Izzy, if you remember the reference that Angry Man used earlier when he talked about the Helen of Troy, maybe you might want to pay attention.
Bloom, cough. And her mother, Queen Clytemnestra, was Helen's sister, apparently the most really nice woman in the world. After her father was murdered by her mother and her new lover, I guess really nice, Electra deeply mourned the loss of her beloved father and started to plot revenge. Pretty long story short, as I am out of jokes, she helps her brother, Orestes, to kill both their nice mother and her new lover.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Enter Carl Jung, Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst. In 1913, he proposed the term Electra complex as a female counterpart to Freud's 1899 Oedipus complex. Product placement, see our other video. Pause for product placement. Jung, once Freud's protege and later rival, cough, damn sons, believed that kids, so also girls, go through a phase where they compete with their mothers for their father's love and attention.
All right, so ask Hi, what's going on, sis? You should love this. I remember. Oh, go ahead. My bad, baby.
I'm sorry, that just pissed me off. Like, Jung, I do love Jungian theory, right? But he didn't create anything. Like, at best, what we can do is say that he gave it a more refined name. Like, you can't simply just take the credit away from Freud while at the same time saying Freud created it. He called it the female Oedipus complex. How did Jung create it? Stop the cat. Jesus Christ. I'm about to be annoyed. Let me be quiet.
Okay, let's go.
Freud, being Freud, wasn't
Wait a
too
minute.
keen on Jung's term.
Pause this real quick. Do y'all see how he did me? Okay. You're so rude.
I'm not rude. You said go ahead, push play. And then she leaves. You said go ahead and push play.
Push play.
But Electra complex stuck, although probably more because it's easier to say and less condescending than because its mythological background precisely mirrors Oedipus Rex. According to his theory, girls aged 3 to 6 experience this complex during what Freud unfortunately did successfully name the phallic stage of psychosexual development in children. Your little girl supposedly becomes jealous of her mother and sees her as a rival for her daddy's affections. But wait, there's more. The theory goes on to suggest that girls also experience penis envy during this stage. Wait, maybe the story does fit perfectly. Dick move though still. But yes, you heard that right. The idea that girls eventually notice they don't have the same equipment as boys and feel somehow lacking. This is also their mother's fault. Surely she carried over the defect and the attraction intensifies. Now, before you start questioning your childhood, let's keep it repressed and focus on today, shall we? Is the Electra complex still relevant in modern psychology, you might wonder? Well, like many of the early theories of psychology, the Electra complex isn't exactly taken as gospel truth anymore. However, the core idea, that of our early relationships with our parents shaping our adult personalities and every other relationship, remains pretty influential and significant. Modern attachment theory and learned security, for example, are excellent and much more integrated developments on his developmental theories. They look at how our bonds with caregivers affect our later romantic relationships, minus the psychosexual mythological dramas and complexities. So, what can we take away from all this? Well, it's a reminder that our childhood experiences play a significant role in who we become, so it's worth considering how your early interactions shape your perspective and behavior. How did my own childhood experiences influence my views on relationships, both with myself and with others? Reflect on this. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe.
All right, sorry about that. All right, so yeah, it gets pretty deep, right? And as long as people can have the wherewithal to understand or even do the research when it comes to these two different complexes and how it affects the children, especially when it is talking about the parents, and then you can adapt that and apply it to the Black community, you can really see why a lot of people feel the way they do or behave the way they do when it comes to these panels that they come up to on these social media platforms. In conclusion, I would say that if people knew more about this and researched it and understood it, then their behavior would change and the conversations would be more forward thinking instead of just remaining the same as they have been for the past, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. Baby, what you got in closing before we get up out of here?
First of all, I am crafting a video real quick, so we're not getting up out of here until I finish crafting this video.
Oh,
But I just told you, babe, that I was crafting. You don't be listening to me.
you'll be listening to you, too, baby.
My feelings are hurt, and I'm gonna cry now because CSI, and I'm a victim.
Well, while we wait on you to finish your video, the link is open again. Anyone is able to come up. As long as make sure when you come. Oh no, I did want to share this while you do that because you did bring up Eric Erickson's the Eric Erickson stage of development. So I can talk about that while we wait on someone to come up. I heard you say you were getting the video ready. Listen, don't get me in trouble. I'm already in trouble as it is. All right.
Thank you, babe. Somebody's paying attention. Somebody loves you, babe. Oh, Jesus.
So you're talking about Erickson's stages of development. A closer look at the 8 psychological stages. Eric Erickson was an ego psychologist who developed. I think when these advertisements show up, who developed one of the most popular and influential theories of development. While his theory was impacted by psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud's work, Erickson's theory centered on psychosocial development rather than psychosexual development. The stages that make up his theory are as follows: trust versus mistrust, infancy from birth to 18 months; autonomy versus shame and doubt, toddler years from 18 months to 3 years; initiative versus guilt, preschool years from 3 to 5; industry versus inferiority, middle school years from 6 to 11; identity versus confusion, teen years from 12 to 18; intimacy and isolation, young adults from the ages of 18 to 40; generativity versus stagnation, from the middle age from 40 to 65; and then integrity versus despair, older but good, 65 to death. Now,
that's where you are.
Where?
Integrity versus despair. You're an old man.
I'm on my way to death.
You're an old man.
So what exactly did Erickson's theory of psychosocial development entail? Much like Sigmund Freud, Erickson believed that personality developed in a series of stages. Unlike Freud's theory of psychosexual stages, however, Erickson's theory described the impact of social experience across the whole lifespan. Erickson was interested on how social interaction and relationships played a role in the development and growth of human beings. Y'all always hear how these people, these guys, these gals, these dudes, these females, these women's, these Negroes and Negrettes, how they always come up to the platform and say, oh, well, I did this and this should be that and I should have this and I want outside sex and all this, that, and either.
You do?
I always hear these people say this.
You missed it. It went over your head.
Oh, no, I called it. Go ahead, play your video, girl.
No, but let me really blow your mind as how this all ties into Maslow's. But I won't do it now because you need to make your notes. But let me add this to the stage. So this, we're going to look right now. Sir, that's not notes. Yeah, I see you muted. Hi, Yvette. How you doing, sis? So what we're looking at is personality islands. Now, I just told y'all about Inside Out 1 and 2. And now you're going to understand why.
And
Each core memory powers a different aspect of Riley's personality. Like Hockey Island. Goofball Island is my personal favorite.
Come back here, you little monkey!
Yep, Goofball is the best. Friendship Island is pretty good too. Oh, I love Honesty Island! And that's the truth. And of course, Family Island is amazing. The point is,
Now this is when Riley gets older.
Friendship Island is expanded. Glad they finally opened that friendly argument.
Sorry. Riley's personality islands are still going strong. Glad to see Boy Band Island finally broke up.
But Goofball is still monkeying around.
Where's Family Island? Right there. Oh, there it is.
And it also shows how different aspects of your personality start to outweigh other aspects of your personality.
By memories, way down at the root level, these memories were also creating beliefs. Homework should be illegal. Get Up and Glow is the best band ever. And my personal favorite, I'm a really good friend. Did you know the change?
And when we're talking about the way the brain develops, I don't believe, it's my personal belief, that you're disingenuous if you have conversations on social media spaces and you don't fully understand the functionality and development of the cognition of the human being. Go ahead, babe.
I was listening to you. Let me go ahead and welcome somebody to the stage.
This is what make it all happen right there.
That's what make it happen.
This what make it happen.
If a man want to know how to meet a nice woman, how you meet her?
With this.
Angry Snowman, what's up, man?
What it do, man? This has actually been a really interesting stream, to be honest with you.
Thank you, appreciate it. What'd you like about it? What'd you take from it? What's your opinion?
It actually causes me to sit back and think about some of the other things that are going on societal, and like with the uptick in children being confused about gender and stuff like that, and if some of this ain't tied to it too.
It absolutely is, but that's another.
I know it's a topic for another day, another section of it, but it really is eye-opening. You know what I'm saying? It reinforces it me to not feel bad when, like with my son Mikey, when he was about 7 years old, I started noticing that he was getting aggressive. To me, it looked like he was trying to assert his dominance over his mom. And I checked that shit real fast and then told him that the days of you hanging out with the girls are done. When you see me if you see me put my coat and shoes on and go outside, your ass better have your coat, shoes on and outside with me.
1,000%. Now, when you apply these theories to y'all, I'm not asking your personal business, but I'll just say it like this. You run a 2-parent household, or are you a single parent?
Both me and mom are here.
Okay, cool. So when you think about these theories, the complexes that they are, what do you think? Like, does these apply to you? Does these apply to your family? Can you see the nuances in them?
The one thing that I did notice is that it makes sense why a lot of sons, when they're going out and looking for a mate, they look for a mate that reminds them of their mother.
And
because these dudes want to fuck their mother.
And when a lot of girls go out and look for a mate, they look for a mate that reminds them of their father a lot of times.
Yes, because these women want to fuck their father. And I have to say it just like that, because even though, us up here and, some people in the audience that got the nuance, and I understand the premise of what we're speaking about, sometimes you have to just put things in crude refinement. Y'all want to have sex with your parents, and y'all look for people to replace your parents, which is why most marriages and relationships don't work out.
Well, if you think about it, isn't a son's, honestly, his first love is his mother, just like a daughter's first love is her father.
Right, but that's not what the problem is. The problem is
How they
not,
love them.
no, it's not resolving Oedipus and Electra. It's natural to love
Not,
your opposite gender parents.
so,
What is
so
not
go ahead. Sorry.
what is not natural is to not resolve those emotions and learn to respect and treasure your same gendered parent. That's when the issue comes into play. So when you see people that are looking to find someone just like their mother, that's a key indicator that that person didn't resolve Oedipus.
Right.
When you see a woman looking to find someone just like her daddy, it's a key indicator that she never resolved Electra.
Now, see, I'd heard of these theories before, but I didn't know that it was something that every child went through. That I was unaware of. I thought that this was something that, that just some kids went through, and it was kind of like a mental disorder.
Mm-mm. No, it's not. Well, that's a catch-22. It does.
It can become a mental disorder from what you guys said.
It can spark a personality disorder. Cluster B personality types usually are sparked by the lack of resolution to Oedipus and Electra.
Do you think maybe this is why so many people, and especially with the youth, are so hypersexualized?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Without question. Without question, absolutely. Because when you're talking about the lack of parental guidance, especially in single parent households, and the majority, well, this is what's alluded, is that the majority of households in America is single parents households. And you think about all of the extensive struggles that they go through economically, socially, and all this, that, and the other, community-wise, environmentally. A lot of these children are not getting the care and attention and love that they need to where they can be able to navigate these factors to where they can have a better understanding of who they are before they go into the world. This is why they depend on their peers to really show them, they lean on their peers to be like, okay, well, this person told me this, well, this person told me that. It's just like, okay, well, what did you learn from your mother and your father? Well, they didn't have the ability to learn from their mother and their father because mommy and daddy wasn't there. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when you go onto these social media platforms and you see that they are leaning onto each other's understanding, not onto what it is, they don't have a foundation to fall back on, which would be from their parents. You can see how on these panels they would say, "Oh well, women ain't nothing but recreational use." Well, why is that? Because that's all they knew from coming up from the single motherhood, right? When they say that, oh well, fathers is doing nothing but just learning how to just be hammers to smash. Well, how else are they going to identify if they ain't seen nothing but just their father just walking around? I'm sorry, just being in the house, having multiple women come in and out the house. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it really does create a dampener on that development. It really destroys it.
Do you think that like how a mother and a father express their love in front of their kids also plays a factor into this? Either how they express their love or the lack of love that they express with one another, either or. Actually, do you think that plays into this?
In what way? When you talking about affection, in what way?
Well, if they see them either seeing over affection, because parents can be over affectionate in front of their kids.
Yes, they can.
Parents do take it too far and do things that their kids really shouldn't see. And they can be under affectionate and not show enough. I mean, I've always been under the understanding that it's important for your kids to understand and see what love looks like from a mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? So if they're seeing too much or not enough, could this also spark, them not being able to get out of that Oedipus or Electra phase?
Well, there's the problem with that. The problem with that is there's always this feeling of envy, right? So the daughter would be looking at the mother like, why are you kissing on daddy?
Mm-hmm.
Or the son may be looking at the father saying, why are you kissing on mom? The truth, therapy helps in that setting. But the thing is though, like those type of affections shouldn't be shown, like holding hands, hugging, that's fine, right? A hug is fine. But
yeah,
when you
like I can see me and the wife hug and kiss, but we don't make out. You know what I'm saying? They don't see
yeah,
that.
not in front of the kids. You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
it's on the
Like,
lips real fast.
yeah, there has to be a scale of what it is that people are allowing their children to see. Because
Right.
when you introduce your children to stuff like that too early, you might put the wrong impression on them, and then they might start asking the wrong questions. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So this particular complex is all about the lack of, not the too much of. That's a different thing. The
So do you
lack
think?
of. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So do you think there's still a bunch of adults now that are suffering from that, and that's possibly why we have all this? It seems like all this what they call it incest porn and shit that seems to be popping up out of nowhere.
Oh, let's be careful what we talk about on the platform.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. But yes, in more ways than one, yes.
Because I always thought that was weird. You know what I'm saying?
It goes beyond that, but that is a not good, but that is a dynamic that can really be looked at, because when you're talking about the Oedipus and the Electra complex, it really stems from not just the perverted sexualization of it, but it's a mindset, right?
Right. I'd almost be willing to guess that because it's so easily accessible and kids get a hold of it at earlier ages now than we did, that probably warps their mind a little bit more and makes it harder for them to overcome whatever it is that they need to overcome.
Yeah, of course it does. But then you look at, well, how it is that we was just like Rob brought up a great point about too much food or too much TV time or too much tablet time or something like that, right? When you look into the complexity of how it is that people are ignoring their children or negating that parental time with them, and they're putting something in front of them. Kids are explorative, right? Their minds are ever expanding and building on top of each other. So
Right.
if you just gonna put a tablet in their hand with no parental controls on it, the kids can come into anything. Now,
Yeah, they need restrictions.
yeah, their brains get to going, and next thing you know, they get to looking at mommy, or gets to looking at, like, this is like, you know what, like, this is what comes to our minds. This is what our main irritations about this. I don't like it when parents don't wear clothes in front of their children. I really do not like it. It irritates the living hell out of me. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And when I would encounter, and I'm not gonna narrow it down, but when I in my younger years, when I would encounter women, when I would go over to a chick's house and she'd be walking around with her bathrobe open and got no undergarments on whatsoever, hair not done, and the kids just walking around the house, I'd be like, why are you, what are we doing here? You see what I'm saying? And it used to irritate the living hell out of me, even to where I hear people say, oh, I don't wear clothes around my kids. I just be like, do you understand
what?
Yeah, like, do you understand the implications, especially around your little son? And then, oh, I sleep naked and I sleep in the bed with myself. It's like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to say the name of a specific. I'm just going to leave that alone. But
right.
you should be wearing clothes around your kids. It's just that simple. There's
right,
no
I agree.
There's no other talk around that. But then you get to the psychological factors that goes into that, right? What are you signifying to your children when you're enabling them to have that viewership of you? Not just of you walking around with no clothes on. You walk around like you don't care. So why should they care?
Right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, you're
But it normalizes uncharacteristic behavior between mother or parent and child, and then it literally kind of passes that on down to the next generation. And the more that becomes normalized, the more that becomes societal.
Elaborate.
Well, think about it, if it's getting to where we kind of got like a culture of kids that aren't overcoming this because they don't have the right dynamics at home, and then they got a parent that's walking around nude or almost nude, and they're seeing this at a young age, that's normalized to them now. That is normal. That is not uncommon because it's been imprinted in their mind at such an early age, right? So then they do it, right? So because it's normalized, and then this stuff just keeps getting passed on down to the next generation, and with each generation it takes less and less and less for this debaucherous act to be normal for them, to where just debauchery itself is now normal.
Correct. And even when you see that, even when you see how, and we're not just talking about behavior, we're talking about language as well, right? The way you talk in front of your children, the way you talk to your children, or rather talk at your children. All of this
I think
goes.
the way you talk with your spouse around your children is equally important too.
Definitely.
You know, like
it all plays a part.
I mean, like I think it's important to when you're having a discussion, first off, if it's a discussion that it doesn't, that a child wouldn't understand, it shouldn't be had around them, because then they're going to ask questions because they don't understand, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And then second, like me, my kids have never heard me call their mom a bad name. They've never heard me swear at her or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They've never even so much as heard me and their mom raise our voices to one another. Because if we have a heated discussion, we take that to another room, or we'll even go outside and walk around on the property, and have the discussion outside.
Right.
Because I really believe that the kids are literally picking up on how they watch how you conduct yourself with your spouse, their mother, their father, and that is now their representation on how they're supposed to treat or be treated.
Correct. And they take that into relationships. And what they do is the lack thereof is how usually their relationships go about. I didn't get no love at home from mommy, so now I'm going to go seek love from mom, from a woman who I see as a mother. I don't get no love from daddy, so I don't see how.
I just had an epiphany too. You know how maybe what you just said, I don't get no love from mommy. So now, even though I'm only 16, 17 years old, I'm going to go out and seek someone who is the same age, or sometimes even my mom's friend, because that's close, and it causes these really weird, messed up, just unbalanced relationships, and it's done out of malice to for them to try and make a mother jealous.
Well, here's the thing. While he's going through whatever he's going through,
I don't know what he's doing
with his device. You guys were talking about therapy earlier, and there are therapy models that actually work really well to deal with these issues. It's called CBT and DBT therapy, right? Which is cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavioral therapy models.
What does it mean specifically?
So CBT primarily targets...
Cognitive is your brain, obviously, but what's dialectible?
Dialectible is talk therapy. It emphasizes managing intense emotions and accepting reality alongside behavioral challenges. So to me, DBT is the better behavioral option.
Why do you say that, in your opinion?
Because it forces you to, talk through what you're actually feeling. Because I was going to relate that to when you said that you're having, when you guys have arguments and you get into intense conversations, you wind up going outside. The kids still feel the energy, though. Because emotion.
I get what you're going with that, and I would agree with you on that premise if it wasn't for the fact that we don't even I know there's an energy, but it's not like, you know what, you're probably more right, and I'm not going to push back, because I'm going to share an example of what happened recently. Me and the wife were having a discussion about I forget what the discussion was, but it was one of these things where it was kind of like a debate discussion we were having. You know what I'm saying? And we were having a bit of a disagreement. And we were getting a little bit excited about it, but we weren't yelling or nothing. It's just, you know, we were trying to force our point across.
Passionate, yeah.
And our son, because he's never seen us really raise our voices, he actually started getting emotional from it. He thought we were fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I almost wonder if a little bit of bickering for them to see is okay, so they can understand that it's normal and that happens, but you don't want to allow it to be too much. But you also don't want them to not see it either, because then they won't know how to deal with it.
Exactly. You want conflict resolution, but parents have a tendency to over shelter their children.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Because like with DBT, it focuses on mindfulness, emotional regulation, distress tolerance, and interpersonal effectiveness. So our children have to learn conflict resolution in order to be able to have great interpersonal skills as they grow up. But, you know, like you, a lot of parents think, well, if they don't hear the argument, then they just don't know what's going on. But, and this may be a little bit of a harsh example for people to wrap their minds around, but think about your cat, think about your dog. They don't understand a bit more of the words that you're saying out of your mouth, but they're reactive to your emotions. Your children are very much the same way. What people don't realize is even when they don't hear the argument, you still have
the energy from it.
Right. Because when you're upset, you wind up retreating into yourself. Or there's certain things in your expression. A lot of people have microaggressions, right? That they give off. There's a difference in the interpersonal activity with your spouse. So they still know.
They know this. They may not know you're fighting, but they know that something ain't right.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying.
So then that also makes them ask questions. Well, why are you so quiet, Dad? Well, Dad, would you like to watch a movie? Mommy, what's going on? Mommy, do you need a hug? Mommy, let's have hot chocolate. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's children acknowledging that they sense the emotion, even though they're not clear on what is driving the emotion. But as far as like the affection model, right? Parents that haven't grown up resolving Oedipus and Electra, they don't really know what's appropriate with the opposite gendered parent. Like everybody says little girls shouldn't sit in anybody's lap except for their fathers. The reality is little girls shouldn't even really sit in their dad's laps. It's just an inappropriate behavior. As well as little boys, I totally agree with y'all. Once your sons start being able to identify anatomy in human beings, your little boy should never see your breasts hanging. They should never see you fresh out the shower. And you'll notice, little boys especially, boys is funny style from the door. You'll have a baby that's like less than 1 year old. You hand him over to a family member, what does he automatically do? He's automatically going for the breast.
Mm-hmm.
He's nuzzling in. And then everybody's like, oh my God, that's so cute. No, you have to redirect. No, baby, don't do that. That's not appropriate.
So you think these women that like breastfeed their kids all the way up to like 4, 5, 6 years old are really kind of doing real mental harm on their kids?
That's a catch-22.
I know, right?
In my opinion, once a child can chew food, you can still give that child breast milk, but it should be pumped. A child shouldn't be suckling off the breast once they have teeth. Because if you are wise enough to navigate your teeth on my ninny, you're intelligent enough to know that this is not just a food source.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, but a lot of women are lazy because pumping actually takes work. Actually getting up every 3 hours, putting 2 things on your breast and getting milked like a cow. That's
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, because I'm a selfish dude, and I am, obviously a Caucasian white man, and I love breasticles. I would only allow the wife to breastfeed the kids for about the first month and a half while she was making that colostrum shit that they talk about at the beginning of childbirth. And then once that stuff started dissipating, and it started becoming more and more difficult for her to breastfeed, and I nope, because I don't want you destroying the boobies. Time for you to get off. I still want them to be enjoyable for me.
Well, that was a little bit selfish on your end, but
I said I was very selfish. I did not even not preface that claim at the beginning. But you know what? I'm allowed to be selfish on some things.
Yes, I get it. I understand. But this is the thing I will say to mothers, because I'm a mother that breastfed for an extended time. Not 4, that was ridiculous. But I pumped the whole entire time. When you are first breastfeeding your child, sometimes breast milk is hard to develop.
It is. Sometimes getting the babies to latches too.
Right. Don't worry about that. Get you a double pump. Okay. Get you some Ferengi tea. All right. And get on a schedule. Also get you some lanolin. Put some lanolin on the nips. Put them in the espresso. Sit there for 20 minutes or longer if you can take it. And do that every 3 hours. You ain't going to get no sleep. But you'll produce milk. It actually really does it with the lanolin. It does if you go in there dry. If you go in there dry, your ninnies they're gonna die. They're gonna die. But the lanolin, your nipples are meant to expand and get longer. So
well, the female anatomy is built and created specifically for reproduction, and then also to nourish the child after it's been produced. So it's all natural shit anyhow. You can't really harm your body too much doing what it naturally does.
No, you cannot. And here comes Omni.
Down! The brake! Hold the right handle!
Omni, what's up, man?
Damn, that's my intro.
He's so rude. He's so rude.
What's going on?
What's good, Omni?
What's going on, Angry Snowman?
I give you this one. My bad.
What more do you want from me?
I'd be mad that he gave you that one and take the first one back.
Yeah.
My turn! You told me it was my turn.
You can talk all that you want to, yeah.
That's what he said about old girl.
Stop.
It's my turn. Shannon, you said it was my turn.
That's messed up.
Wow.
I can't take you serious no more.
I wasn't to be taken serious in the first place. Oh man, I don't even know if I want to be up here with.
I didn't really want to be up here.
How tough Raw and Uncle Tom last night was sticking to their guns. It's crazy, but she sent me the actual argument.
Don't even tell him. I'm just gonna let them. I'm gonna let them live in the firmament, and that I'm a flat earther. That's what I'm gonna let them live.
I'm not getting involved in none of them flat. Dude, I've done too many of them damn debates over on Tom's. It's the same shit every time. I went over and listened to the Fantastic and Flow State debate. That was much better.
I'm gonna just tell you this, and now Omni gets to have a better inside chuckle when we get to have this conversation. Omni, am I wrong about the firmament?
You are not wrong about the firmament.
Thank you.
I don't know what you're
not wrong about the firmament at all. I 100% agree with that. With that illustration of the firmament, that articulation of the firmament, I am 100% in alignment with.
Can you repeat that articulation real fast?
No, because every time I say the firmament,
yeah, I know. Willie Will fucking. I'm sorry, Willie Will. He blows a fuse in his head, and
Yep, he gets to get upset because, so I'm a flat earther. Let him tell it. It's the firmament.
Hey, Willie,
But-
how's it feel to be married to a flat earther? She's a flurf.
I got you. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. This one's for free.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
All right, cool. Appreciate it.
Wow. Wow. I don't know if that was bigoted or racist.
It was both. It was both. Get him.
Both.
But it was a great topic that y'all put forth, because for people in this space, people that are suffering from arrested development, something big that's talked about in the what I call the boy-girl conversation, where women and men just can't get along. Because I want it. What I want matters more than what you want, and what you want doesn't matter as much as what I want. The thing that I find is a severe lack of maturity, due to, I'm gonna just say, people not receiving enough hugs growing up. People not receiving enough love growing up. People not receiving enough attention. And so they're trying to find parental attention from potential spouses.
Exactly. And that's why I tell people all the time, I am not your mama. Shut your busy ass up. I ain't your mama. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it.
Yeah, but there's an awful lot of women out here that do like to try and play mama. I had one of them that did that, and it drove me nuts. I had to get rid of her.
That's because they crazy as hell. Now, listen, hold on 1 second real quick. To the lactation of the chesticles.
I love chesticles.
This is what you accomplish in one 20-minute session, taking Ferengi and using the lanolin. You go in and let have all of that milk. You see what that is?
That's breakfast and maybe half a lunch.
Yeah, no, my baby was green.
Breast milk.
Yeah.
Mommy, have you ever tried breast milk as an adult?
Oh yeah, it tastes like melon juice.
I couldn't put my finger on what it tasted like. It just tasted different.
It's way better than cow's milk, and that's because it's made for us.
I thought it made really good cream for coffee.
Ew.
Not you took the baby's milk.
Only one time, because I wanted to try it.
I was just dealing with a woman that was lactating at the time. That was my story. I didn't intentionally take the milk.
Oh, it was one of them dealies. I got you.
Yeah.
That's always nice when it catches you off guard.
Lord Jesus, I can't.
This is why I did not go into college, because, God damn it.
You are going to college.
I hate creating title pages. It is the most irritating thing to me ever.
Bro, thank you. Somebody else said it. I'm glad I have somebody else on record that said it out loud. I hate.
What do you mean?
Why is it unnecessary?
Page. Because if I start at the intro paragraph, the title is on the intro paragraph. I don't need, the title is right before the introductory paragraph. You got the abstract, the introduction, and then you got the body paragraphs. You know what I'm saying? Then you wrap it up at the end in a nice bow in the conclusion. I don't need all these extra steps. And I feel like the abstract and the introduction are rather redundant. That's just me though. But y'all got it. I digress. My mic is muted. Shout out to Smitty.
This is harder than what I thought.
Why is it harder?
Because you know how I am. I'm indecisive about things. Can y'all hear me? Did I just lose connection?
Nah, I hear.
Okay, Rogers dropped in.
Rogers dropped.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen did you see the back and forth debate that I had over there on Izzy's?
No, I didn't.
What, today?
When was this? Today?
Yeah, it was today.
Dude, that was a whole mess up there.
It was so simple. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get to where it started at. So
But well, I thought about this, right?
Mhm.
While we talk about college and scholarly things, if the medium of the land is changing, like towards like people are reading less, so they're watching videos more and things of that nature.
Mhm.
Why don't we just submit video essays?
That's what I'm going to do. It's not going to be. It's not going to be. So as much to my degree, I took the cart before I took the horse before the cart, and Rosbeck. I took the horse
No
before the cart.
cookies.
And, Anger Man challenged me to do a dissertation on women take rejection harder than men.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's not a hard thing to prove. That's not a hard thing to prove.
It's not. It's really not. Like I'm already knee deep into it. It's just a cover page. Just that cover page has to be like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It
Okay.
has to be like anything. You're not even showing the cover page to anybody. Cut it out.
Well, I think with that,
I'm not showing the cover page. No, I'll show it to you, baby, because I want you to help me on it. But other than that, like I already got.
Did he just say he's going to cheat on his dissertation for Angry Man?
No, he said he's going to show me the
No,
cover
he
page.
said he needs your help, which means someone else is going to be helping do it, which means it's not him.
I'm sorry, sir, but in academia, you use tutors and all sorts of resources in order to complete your work. So
Isn't a
it is well within
dissertation
his
like a
right.
final exam, though?
No, that's a thesis.
Well, I've never been to college, so I don't know. I mean, I got it.
Christ.
I got it.
Damn, Angry Man, you are a black man. Jesus.
Yeah, I did already.
Wait. If Angry Man, how the hell Angry Man go tell me to do a dissertation? He ain't go to college, did he?
He wrote a book.
He wrote 2 books.
I mean, so did Princella.
Nah, but Angry Man's book was good.
Yeah, I've been wanting to actually get it myself. I'm curious.
Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help!
Why did y'all put those two names in the same sentence? Like, what the hell?
These are two authors that make that kind of content. That's the only. You know what I'm saying? That's the only relation.
Could you imagine comparing the 2 books chapter by chapter?
It's easily done.
I bet it is. I bet it's a really interesting contrast too.
No, it's not even that interesting. It's one is of substantive value and one is trash that you use to wipe your ass. I'll let you choose which one is which.
I'm pretty sure the one written by ChatGPT.
Dude, you beat me to it. Actually, I waited for someone else to say it, so I didn't have to. Actually, be honest with you.
I know I'm not being messy though. I've read both books. One book I was impressed with. The other book I was like, what is this drivel? The one book literally took me 45 minutes to read cover to cover.
That's a good book, man. If it pulls you in like that.
No, I mean it took 45 minutes while I was working because there was no value to it.
How thick was the book?
It was a pamphlet on Amazon. So on Amazon, it's at like 402 pages, which means it's really like 100 pages in real life.
And okay, never mind. You weren't interested. I thought it was like a book.
Nah, it was a pamphlet. And it was, I'll just leave it right there. It was a pamphlet.
Like I've read books that are like 1,300 pages cover to cover in a couple 2 or 3 days because it had me sucked in.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt about the Left Behind series. I read all 24 of those books in 2 weeks. But
have you ever read Stephen King's unedited version of The Stand?
no, I don't really care for Stephen King.
I don't like all of his stuff, but The Stand, after reading that and then the Cerveza bug and all that stuff, it was interesting correlating the two.
See, I'm not going. You could send me an email about it. I might look into it. But, I still got to do the next episode of Villas Unveiled. And since I'm snowbound, I might get it actually done before the end of the week.
Oh man, thank God for this weather, because that's the only reason I've been able to show up on the late night.
Isn't James and the Giant Peach longer than her book?
Ooh,
seriously?
Shit.
Shut the fuck up.
Wow.
Now you're messy. You're messy for that one, Rocky. Rocky, you're messy for that.
He's got no respect. None.
No respect, disrespect, and all aspects. Child.
I don't know. Let this man talk me into doing a damn dissertation. I've never done a damn dissertation.
You wanted to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You wanted to prove to him that you could.
All right, so here's where it happened at. Since you didn't see it,
just be assuming that.
Shit.
Hold on, let me mute my mic here.
You know, she's just one of these chicks. They got a mama, but ain't got no daddy or no brothers. You know what I'm saying? And all you gotta do is show up. And once he see that she got brothers or daddy, then watch, his whole demeanor gonna change, because he know if he go crazy with her, he gonna have to deal with a man.
It's a peacekeeper.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim Jong-un said women take rejection harder than men. Element.
That's not true.
I don't believe that.
Wait, hold on real quick. That is absolutely the case. Let me tell you why. And
Omni, give me your opinion. Do women take rejection harder than men?
Women take harder. It does something to women on a psychological basis, which they will automatically disqualify themselves from certain scenarios to not even attempt. This is why women typically don't approach men, because the soul crushing rejection of the guy that wants you, that you want, not wanting you, she would rather just not know about the outcome, and she would just rather pine over this guy in private for all eternity instead of approaching and letting her feelings be known. I've seen it time and time again. Women, when it comes to rejection, women cannot take it.
I didn't think of that earlier.
Man, women don't get rejected. Women don't get rejected because we got rosters.
I personally think that
guys give it lots of pasta.
I think that's too blanketed of a statement to even ask someone to give a real answer to, because there's too many other variables that aren't being addressed that change everything. Like, first off, how old you are. I didn't even know for the longest time whether or not we're talking about, people that are already in established relationships, or married couples with kids, or these single people that, are just started dating, or am I at the bar? Did I just meet you? I mean, there's too much to ask to even really give a answer to that question. It's too broad.
Exactly. And this is the thing. Honestly, I feel like the men in these spaces want it to be where women are just so upset. Oh, you might want to mute.
Or take rejection far harder, which is exactly what.
Okay, he's listening to that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mute him. But they want women to be upset about rejection. You cannot simultaneously say that women have rosters and then say the same women that have teams and teams of men are upset about rejection. If y'all really believe, if that is your real belief, that women have a plug and play pyramid scheme set up.
I don't know if they necessarily have a plug and play pyramid scheme, but I do know it's easier for them to go out and, get their vagina soothed than it is for a man to get his phallus soothed.
No, but I'm saying the way that these men and these spaces structure the conversation and the argument is you don't have to do anything for a woman, because a woman is just trying to take care of you. Because women have a man for the movies, women have a man for shopping, women have the handyman, women have the dude they get the penis from, blah 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 blah. All of this nonsense that they tell them.
That's just stupid.
Right, but this is what they honestly believe. And then they double down and say women that have rosters are whores. So you make yourself believe that women have rosters and that women are whores. And then simultaneously you believe if women get rejected, they're going to spaz out. Get out of here.
Well, that's why I said there's too much that's not being asked in that question for you to actually make a determining factor. I mean, if you're married, I would see a man flipping out about losing everything in a marriage a lot quicker than a woman. You know what I'm saying? In that instance, you're going to see a man spaz out. You know, he loses his house, you know, all of his stuff, his kids, you know, half his paycheck. Now he's living in the basement in his grandma's house.
Exactly. But this is the thing, right? And thank you, Jer Peliel, with the $4.99. Constructive conversations make for better efforts. Power knowledge to the people. Amen, amen, amen. This is the thing.
I was just saying, greatly appreciate the Jer.
Okay, thank you. So this is what the conversation should have been had. And let me drop him so he can't hear, so he don't have no context clues for his dissertation.
I can still hear you. Like, what are you talking about?
Hey, El Cheapo Boo. See, I'm trying to help him out. And then he want to sit there and try to cut up in here. You know what? Here, let me bring you back. So since you could hear so much.
No, I'll just mute myself.
My turn.
It's my turn now. So what I actually was about to say is they should talk about.
You told me it was my turn.
You can talk all that you want to. Yeah.
So fucking hilarious.
Tired of you. Don't do it.
Damn it. Nobody take no cornbread from me. And that go for you and any other you motherfucking
You gonna eat that cornbread?
Right, that's why he's muted. He's steady talking best, and he muted. What you got to say, sir?
Nothing. Do your spill.
So anyway, we just gonna leave him up here because you know what? I ain't even gonna cover him no more. I'm gonna let him cover his damn.
Oh, well, hold on, wait. Cheapo says I'm gonna have to catch the replay. I seen. Nah, we wasn't reviewing the Izzy Live. We really just went through a whole entire thing about unraveling complexities, the Oedipus and Electra Complex in Black households. You really might want to check that out, El Cheapo. There's really good information and knowledge and education there. You really might want to catch the replay on that. We only just briefly reviewed the Izzy debate. Go ahead, baby.
Yeah, you might want to check out my live earlier too.
Yes.
About absent Black fathers and the effects on the African American community. But what I was gonna say is the reaction to the rejection, right? Now, if we look at relationships or marriages when they first fall apart, initially the woman might be upset, emotional, depressed, going through. The man is happy. Oh, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free.
Or vice versa.
No. Listen, as time goes on, though, the woman heals. She becomes happy again. As time goes on for the man becomes more emotional and emotionally reactive. That's when he tries to spin the block, and that's when he loses it.
I'd have to disagree with that. Just because I'm a man and I've been through it, and the longer time went on, the easier it got for me. It was the initial, the initial part of it where your stomach hurts to where you can't eat, and you start losing weight because you're depressed and crap like that. Don't go out and hang out with that's the part that the initial. What I found is that over time, women are the one that actually start getting more bitter about things because they'll see their ex or their ex-husband or their baby daddy moving on to another person, and now it's almost like they feel like they're losing control of something, and they bug out about it.
Okay, well, I mean, that's your anecdotal experience, but I was speaking to generalities, right? So from marriage.com, the same study cited above has also shown the extent to which men and women can heal from breakups and how long it takes. The research shows that women are likely to take longer to grieve and recover from the breakup, but are likely to fare better in the long run as compared to men. Men might never completely recover from a breakup, partly because of how a man handles a breakup. It's science behind it.
Well, to what that said, I do agree to a certain extent because do you think that women completely let go of grief from a relationship, specifically one where other life was created from it? Because look, that's where to me that's where you find most of your anger and vitriol for the other person. Because
Right. So,
no, go ahead.
No, I want you to finish your thought before
That was the finish of my thought.
Okay. So no, I think that it becomes easier for women, right? Because initially it's like, oh my God, the family's breaking up. This is so horrible. I think I'm going to die. But things are easier to navigate without the husband in the house the vast majority of the time. Because unfortunately, a lot of men that haven't resolved Oedipus look towards their wife as a mom. So they need to be catered to. They need the focus of the wife to be solely on them. And a lot of men actually develop resentment towards their children. They refocus that Oedipus complex to their own progeny because Oedipus continues.
Well, just for laugh and gag's sake, Omni, you was about to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say I hear this a lot in marriages where men after children come into the picture, the men are left wondering why the woman is so obsessed with the children and not giving him as much attention anymore. So that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Well,
and then go ahead, babe. And then you have to realize that the Oedipus complex continues. So if they have a son, this is now a double flowing Oedipus complex.
How would that work with a woman who ends up like postpartum though afterwards?
That I feel is Electra complex unresolved.
Postpartum?
Yeah, because a lot of women postpartum, they don't want anything at all to do with their kids. So
I think you would be compounding complexities at that point, right? I mean, we're not getting into the deep philosophical part of it, right? And psychological part of it. Psychologically, the Electra complex or the Oedipus complex wouldn't have anything to do with postpartum depression, right? That is a different mental factor.
could your because in the Electra complex, daughter's competition with her mother, she's in competition with her.
Yes.
So if she doesn't resolve that competition and takes it into adulthood, wouldn't she then become in competition? That mother now become in competition with her own daughter?
Yes.
Yes.
So wouldn't that actually help foster postpartum?
Yes, in my opinion.
Let's say no.
Because I dealt with my first kid's mom. She had postpartum with both of them, and dude, I'm gonna tell you what. For like the first 4 or 5 months, she couldn't. Like she refused to do anything with them. It was weird.
Right, it's a bonding issue.
Right. It's like she couldn't sit there and hold the kid for any length of time. It was just like always holding it out, like, ooh, get it away from me.
And then, what is one of the key symptoms of postpartum? Feelings of worthlessness, shame, guilt, or inadequacy. What do we talk about when we talk about the lack of resolution to Electra and Oedipus complex?
Guilt.
It's a lack of exactly. It's a lack of resolution of initiative versus guilt.
Yeah, but I don't think that's. I mean, I can see where. Now you're making me use my brain. I can see where you can connect the dots on that, right? But I think that's more of a parental aspect because parentally, if that child was raised in a home where there's good parenting, I'm going to assume we're talking about a dual parent household, right? If that child was raised in a dual parent household, then they wouldn't be. They would have the mitigation.
Go ahead, but I was going to say just because someone is raised in a dual parent household doesn't mean that they resolved Oedipus or Electra, but continue.
Right. It depends on how involved their parents are.
Well, that's what I'm working through all of this in my brain. So if the parents are able to mitigate, nurture, and raise that child to where they can guide that child through those stages of development, and they're able to really work with that child to push them into adulthood to where they can understand how outside influences can impact their psyche. When it comes to postpartum depression, if they had that strong parental uh, figure that they can lean on to, figures that they can lean on to, I would think it would be able to really wean off some of that. But we're still talking about the lecture complex to where, let's say, the father of the child isn't there, then I can see how that would cause flare-ups in that depression. If the father child is there, they already have the understanding of growing up in a two-parent household, so they know how to lean on to their partner, so they can kind of wean off some of that depression a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm on the right path. Maybe I'm not. I'm trying to work all of
How does that work for the children of like two lesbian parents or two gay parents?
I know that gay shit is a whole bundle of crazy. I can't even begin to unpack.
And then we're not even talking about throwing the aspect of maybe they have two transgender parents. How does that dynamic mess with these natural things that kids go through and they have to learn how to overcome?
I can say honestly, I don't have enough data to really talk to that as far as the gay parent aspect.
Well, maybe it's something that you can add to your notes for the next part to the series.
Well, I don't think. Well, you know what? That wasn't something that was touched on because when we were talking about women taking rejection harder, even when it comes to gay and lesbian couples, do women who are lesbians take rejection harder from other women?
No.
Do men take rejection harder from other men in gay relationships?
Sometimes. I got a video I'll send you about a gay couple. Well, anyway, I got some videos, but lesbians do not care.
Is this the research y'all got to go through in college, man? This is some bullshit.
Lesbians jump in and out of silly. Lesbians jump in and out of relationships. Lesbians, in fact, have U-Haul relationships because they quick to fall in love with each other, quick to move in with each other, and quick to move out and move on to the next one. You see,
wow.
Yeah, Priscilla is a prime example of a lesbian used to dealing in a U-Haul relationship dynamic. She was dealing with Ming Lee, then she was dealing with B. Taylor, then she was trying to holler at Dana, then she was dealing with Jasmine.
And then they got red pilled.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Let me play this for you before we go further. Now, since it was the Izzy debate, Angry Man was up there, and I gave the answer that I gave the premise that men go through rejection harder than women because I'm attacking the talking points that men get rejected more than women, correctly? Or correct?
Correct, yes.
All right. So if men get rejected more than women, then when it comes to them encountering that one woman that they want to be with and they get rejected by her, they're more prone to crash out. Would you agree or disagree?
I would agree. I would agree
depending on how they have involved.
I've seen dudes obsessed to the point where they crash out. That's where the whole bitch you wasn't fine anyway thing comes up.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, see, I think when you guys say crash out, when it comes to something like that they're taking it so badly that they're doing stuff that could potentially put them in jail type crash out.
Correct.
I mean, they do that too, but it be them all in their fields every time. Oh, bitch, I didn't even want your number. Bitch, you think you too good. You think you too good to holler at me. And
Yeah. So, and I'm glad we was, you know what? Beans came up and he helped me kind of minimize the premise so that we can have a better understanding of it. So the minimized premise of it is the majority or the minority of men, do the majority of men get rejected or the minority of men get rejected? And he said, okay, well, it's the minority of men. It's the majority of men that get rejected, and it's the minority of men that react or lash out because of that rejection. Okay. So we're dealing with the minority of men and minority of women. Of those two, which one gets rejected more? And the answer will still be the men. Okay. Now that we got that premise. But you know, Angry Man and is going, which surprisingly, Angry Man, when he heard my premise, he was like, Will is right. And of course, Iz was like, no, that's not right. And it turned into this.
Oh, wow.
This shit ain't funny at this point. I'm fucking late to pick up my son. This shit ain't fucking funny.
Nigga talking. Everybody shut up when he talks.
Jesus Christ, please. Cause I'm on my cell. Yo, I'm on my cell. I'm trying to pick up my son at the same time. So
because you're on your cell.
Oh my God.
You're on your cell, you didn't realize that no one else was talking except you and Cellulite.
Uncle Jeff said something, bro. I'm not even talking to you. Why do you keep interjecting yourself when I'm not talking to you? Let me get to my point.
What?
Like, I'm not.
What?
Yeah, you missed that part.
Well, something that I noticed today, and that I've actually been noticing a lot from Izzy when he does his streams, and it's no slight at Izzy, you know, maybe just a slight critique that he might want to work on if he hears it, but he might not too. It seems like he has a need to want to interject after every single comment that's made. And I've found the best. I found the people that actually moderate the best content when they're running a panel are ones that, you know, throw ideas out there and then let the panel build off of it, you know, and then just intermediately here and there, you know, interject with this or with that. But it's like, it seemed like he felt this need to control every aspect, you know, give the first answer to control the direction of where everywhere else was going.
Well, my thing was this with Iz, right? You cannot evolve. If me and Omni break out into a debate right now over which color is better, red or blue, you can't evolve the color red or the color blue to try to fit your narrative so that you can get the points or get the touchdown. That's called moving the goalpost. Matter of fact,
can't make it purple?
Huh?
You can't make it purple?
No, we're only dealing with red and blue. That's the point that I was trying to make to Izzy, but he wasn't like understanding it. So then it got to this point, and this is after Raw came up.
So sarcastic. What men say to a degree is true. Women have rosters. Women are dating multiple people until they choose one person. So the fact that women are not used to rejection and they cry and they crash out, no, we don't. We update the roster. If something doesn't work out with someone else, the next person is in the DMs, is on the phone, is in the text message. It's simply a changing of the guard.
Okay.
That being said,
wait, no, don't go anywhere yet. Can you explain busting the windows out your car? Can you explain keying up your car? Can you explain slashing tires, bleaching clothes?
See how he's evolving the argument? That wasn't the argument. The initial premise was off the base interaction. First interaction. You see what I'm saying? And he's talking about going to the extremes. This is after the interaction. So I've never seen the female go key up a dude's car or bust out his windows just because she got rejected by a guy. Now,
well, not just because of rejection. You're right there.
Yeah, not because of rejection. Yeah.
I've seen men throw acid in a woman's face because she didn't want to be with him, though.
Yes. That's
what? In America?
Yes.
I know they do that in other countries, but damn.
I've seen women actually hurt themselves before because of rejection from a man and try and pin it on him as the one that hurt her.
Right. So prior to all of this, the argument that is the example, the reference that is used was a Bible reference, and I could be saying these names wrong. I believe it was Joseph in the Bible. So he brought up Joseph in the Bible about how it is that the girl wanted to be with him. She couldn't be with, he rejected her. So she pretty much destroyed his life. So Anger Man.
I think that's Samson.
No, that's hair.
No. Yeah. Samson's the hair guy.
All right. So Anger Man used the example. Okay, if that's the example you're going to use, I'm going to use this example. He used the King of Sparta and Helen of Troy, I believe it was, about how he got rejected by a girl. He went and destroyed a whole civilization because of that rejection. So now if you weigh the two against each other, one person got hurt and another person destroyed a whole entire a country or kingdom or whatever. So my thing is, because that guy got rejected, because the King of Sparta got rejected, he went and killed everybody. Because the girl got rejected, she just destroyed his life. But that's afterwards. But then, baby, you brought up a very good point. Since we're going about extremes, we talk about Othello. I don't know if y'all are too familiar with Othello, but Raw did a very good video on Iago. But even in
Othello, yeah, a lot of dudes
don't know. So you know about Othello?
Yep.
All right. Yep. So, baby, if I explain this wrong, tell me I explain this wrong. Iago manipulated Othello to delete his wife based off of a lie.
Yes.
And
based
because
off the fact that he just hated the Moor. He did not want him to be with Desdemona from the beginning. And a lot of people find Iago's, motives to not be clear. It's very clear to me. He went to Rodrigo from the beginning. He wanted to make a power play. He just didn't like Othello. He told her father about them being married. He set Othello up from the door. Go ahead. I'm not even going to get excitable. Go ahead.
Iago was a hater.
He was more than just a hater. He was a manipulator, right? And unfortunately enough, he was a master manipulator. He made a mistake that cost him everything, though. But he was a master manipulator. Behind the handkerchief, behind what's his name, Cassius. What's the other person's name? How he manipulated his wife.
Rodrigo.
What was his name?
Rodrigo.
He manipulated everybody. His whole entire sole purpose was to make Othello destroy himself. And he did that by means through Desdemona, whatever her name is. And that was the premise of it. Yeah. Now, why did he do that? I believe, not just because he looked at Othello as a Moor or as a black man, but I think his true premise was, I think he was in love with Desdemona. That's just me. And maybe
make a man do stupid things.
Maybe because of her rejecting him, he made it his lifelong mission to destroy the love of her life, which is Othello.
And plus, people thought he was sleeping with Othello.
And everybody thought that everybody thought that he was gay. So from that rejection, not only in politics but also in love, he made up this master plan to destroy a person and everything around him. So by that sense, he said, Uncle Jeff he said, give me the male equivalent of the song "Stand" by Eminem. If you know the song "Stand" by Eminem, you know the lyrics. You know how that went down. He said, give me the female equivalent of that song.
What's that? What's that one? There's that one Taylor Swift song where, or that one girl, that one country singer, where she talks about, I took my key to his 4-wheel drive.
Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood.
Right, that kind of be like the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, all she did was destroy his stuff. Instead, he destroyed her.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an off the rip meeting that she did that. But I can't believe that Israel tried to use Papatar's wife. Like, what? That's insane. Like, when it comes down to the story of Joseph, to try to use that in a story about rejection is a little bit crazy, because the rejection wasn't necessarily of her. The rejection was of sin and violating what God had given him, to be quite honest. And when he went to prison behind what she did, he was still shown favor. because God made it so, because he was obedient to God's will. So it's very intriguing to me how people decide to take and use the Bible.
It's intriguing to me how people decide to take and use any information, or how
Well, it's all about.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Omni.
I was just gonna say it's about power at the end of the day. Whatever rules the minds of the masses will be wielded as a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Whatever holds sway over the minds of the masses will be used as a weapon for men to assert dominance.
So you're saying there's a comprehension issue?
I don't think there's a. I think that's I think it's partly a comprehension issue,
look,
but also hold on, but also people's wants and desires twist the narrative into what they want it to be rather than what it is or what it was intended to be.
So then people are duplicitous in nature.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Will you guys tell me what that means and stop using these big white words?
Like I was just about to come up here. Like, what the hell does duplicitous mean? Y'all smart, educated motherfuckers.
Damn.
Look it up.
Oh, you over there drinking? They're
really going to make me pull out my fucking.
Okay, so this isn't Duce. This isn't Duce.
Oh, like, baby. Oh, baby. You see what he drinking?
I got fresh. Okay, so this is what I do, right? I used to be an alcoholic, so I have a bunch of Duce bottles. But I've done healthy things since. So we got a juicer over the holidays. And so we store the juice in Duce bottles.
I used to be an alcoholic too, man. I'm 8 years sober now.
And that ain't the most ghetto shit I've ever heard in my life.
This particular no, it's great. It's a glass bottle. Think about it. It's a glass bottle. The cork.
It's sanitized.
Yeah, it's sanitized. All of that. But this this particular beverage is watermelon. This is some nigga shit. Watermelon, cucumber, lemon, and mint.
Oh, that sounds yummy. But duplicitous means deceitful. I'm not gonna make you look it up. But babe, I don't
look. I already got my damn dictionary out. I'm right there by it. I'm already looking it up.
Good, and you'll learn a whole bunch of other words as well. But babe, I don't know if you heard what I had said about Joseph and Propator's wife. I can't believe Izzy tried to use that as an example when that rejection had nothing to do with a male-female dynamic relationship. That had to do with obedience to God. Even in the scripture, it's very clear.
This is interesting. All I have is duplex, duplicate, duplicator, duplicity, and then you would think there's no duplicitous.
How are you spelling duplicitous?
Well, I'm assuming that it starts out D-U-P-L-I and then goes C-I-T-E-S.
Oh,
or is it C-T-O-U-S?
It's D-U-P-L-I-C-I-T-O-U-S.
Okay. So it was the second spelling.
Yes. So when you go to whatchamacallit, what chapter is this? Genesis chapter 39. And you go to verse 8, it says, well, actually, go to verse 7. Yeah. Like half a sentence before. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. And after a while, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, come to bed with me. But he refused. With me in charge, he told her, my master does not concern himself with anything within the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed or even be with her. One day he went into the house to attend his duties, and none of the household servants were inside. She caught him by his cloak and said, come to bed with me. But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house. When she saw that he had left his cloak in her hand, and had run out of the house, she called household servants. Look, she said to them, this Hebrew has been brought to us to make sport of us. He came in here to sleep with me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream for help, he left his cloak behind me and ran out of the house. And then she told her husband. And then he went to prison, and the Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. So the warden put Joseph in charge of all those held in prison, and he was made responsible for all that was done there. Come on, man. And the warden paid no attention to anything under Joseph's care because the Lord was with Joseph and gave him success in whatever he did.
What number you on?
I'm skipped down to 21.
Oh.
So when people are trying to take and use scriptures, that wasn't about him rejecting her or her lying on him. It was about the will of God. Because after this, Joseph begins a journey to wind up getting back to his family and getting his birthright. But you would rather try to use that in a example about relationships instead of an example about being faithful to God's will.
Well, I would say that most people who try to reference the Bible think of themselves above the Bible, and they think of themselves above God.
Yep.
Take it how you want, but if you listen to how even Angry Man pointed this out to Ears, he said, man, these women will move, they would destroy heaven and earth. They will move mountains to destroy heaven and earth. Angry Man said, nigga, you ain't God. You ain't being destroyed, but she's not destroying your heaven and earth. She's just rejecting you.
See, that's a great point by Angry Man, honestly.
Bro, it surprised the hell out of me when the conversation could have been, it could have evolved into something great, right?
It could have, it really could have.
Unfortunately for Ears,
it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity, but I'm gonna take advantage of it. You don't think I was paying attention to what Angry Man said? He said this conversation can spark multiple streams or shows to where you can talk about how it is that this particular conversation or this particular statement or question about men being rejected, how it is has spawned a movement of multiple of factions, incels, manospheres, red pills, all MGTOW, all this, that, and the other, that men who get massively rejected by women have went and created these movements. Now we can talk about these movements, we can have deeper conversation, but that's all right. I'll do it. Fuck it. Anywho, we've been up here for 3 hours. That's a pretty good enough show for me. I appreciate all of y'all stopping by. Omni, Angry, Snowman. Y'all got any last words before I shut this thing down? Because I'm about to eat and me and my baby about to chill.
No, I think everything that needed to be said was said. I will say that if you find yourself suffering from Oedipus complex, i.e. wanting to find your mother and your mate, seek help. I don't know what kind of help because I've never had that problem, but seek help. You need to get over some shit in life.
I agree. I'm gonna go with Omni's last comments on that one. I can't add anything to that.
Appreciate both of y'all. Baby, you got anything?
Jesus, what? Huh? End it. Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I got the kids over here getting on my nerve. All right, bye. Let me end it, y'all.
Over me. Yeah, in jail I be.